Welcome to the Orange Hammer Podcast. My name is Corbett Storick. I've been a licensed general contractor for 8+ years, specializing in new construction, renovation, furniture building. I'm the son of an architect and an interior designer, and I've been surrounded in this industry since birth, watching all aspects from concept, design, build, punch list, and of course, all the problems that come up in between. In my time in Durham, North Carolina, I've noticed a significant gap in knowledge between homeowners who need work and the people who do the work. On this podcast, I hope to break down the process of homeownership from the perspective of both the homeowner and the contractor in an effort to help raise the knowledge of homeowners about their homes and the construction/renovation process. I hope you enjoy. If you're enjoying the Orange Hammer Podcast, or if you have a topic that you want covered, or have recently done a project, please contact the Orange Hammer Podcast. The Orange Hammer Podcast is on Instagram and Facebook. Please like and subscribe, share on whatever platform you're enjoying your podcast on. Also, check out our YouTube channel, The Orange Hammer. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by CRS Contracting LLC for all your construction and handyman needs, new buildings to renovations, furniture building, EV charger install, or even a TV mounted. You can call me, Corbett Storick. It'd be my pleasure to help you. You can find me on Instagram at CRS Contracting. WSDG, the Walter Storick Design Group, specialists in architectural and acoustical consulting. Check out WSDG.com. And Taylor Bragg, for all your artistic needs in all mediums. You can find her on Instagram at brag_about_art. That's brag, BRGG, with 2 G's. She's the fantastic artist behind the Orange Hammer logo, and she did my fantastic table painting of my podcasting table. Here we are on the Orange Hammer Podcast, episode 64, a special event. We have multiple guests, and we're on video. Woohoo! Wave. I don't know who's going to see it or when, but hopefully millions of people. Today, Megan, Nate, what's your last name? I forgot. Beekman. There we go. First of all, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. We have so much to talk about, so I'm just going to literally jump in with right off the top of my head. You guys are either thinking about or actually already halfway starting your own podcast.
Yes.
Awesome. What phase are we in of creating y'all's podcast?
The getting to the production part. So we've got the idea, so getting the studio almost set up. It's really close. We've got most of the equipment that we need, and now it's a matter of getting organized on getting people lined up and scheduling them to come over and get that rolling, and then the marketing and production, all that, rolling it out.
Yes. Okay, so let's jump in. What's the topic?
So the topic is career development. I really love helping people figure out what they actually want to do, because I feel like most people just kind of fall into whatever their career is, and they don't actively pick what they would love to do ultimately. And so the podcast goal is to give people kind of an overview of different careers they can pick, because no one, when you're in high school, you don't know what an IT cybersecurity technology specialist does.
No, it's a bunch of words that you just think means computer nerd.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
And also, nobody's happy in their job today.
And you don't know a business. People. When you get a business degree, you're not like, I'm getting a business degree and I'm going to be this very specific job at this company. You have no idea.
100%. I got a business degree. I literally know exactly what you're talking about. And I literally thought the end goal was just get a job where I wear a suit. That's what I literally thought the goal was.
I think that's literally what that's what the pictures are. That's what you look at in books. That's what they show in TV shows.
Yeah.
You don't know what they actually do in the office.
Yeah.
Unless you watch The Office, then you get a good idea.
If I had a job at the office, I would quit. That would be brutal. What's funny is I couldn't be more the opposite. What I do now, it's anti-suit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was doing this kind of work. Granted, I'm not the bottom rung laborer anymore, but I was. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. And
it sucked, but it was still more fun than the thought of putting that suit on every day and like thinking about dry cleaning it and just like all of the thoughts that like simply had to go with the stereotype of the suit, which is so strange to be thinking about now. And I was like exactly the opposite. I was like ripping tin and just getting covered in rust and just like demoing this building in California. Oh, they're in the studio. Dog has come in. Since he's on camera, we got to acknowledge the Willie Bear is here to say hi. Got my straps on the wrong side here. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the movie Office Space, but like the scene in the end where like the guy's just having a blast doing manual labor and like his buddies roll up and they're like, "Hey, we got like this other job. Like, do you want to go?" And he's like,
No,
I'm like
good.
so happy.
Yeah, it's like I am not interested at all. The Stapler, it's such a classic movie. Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's very good. So the idea that what you wanted to do in the form of helping people find their career, how did you go from that to a podcast?
I like podcasts.
All right. That's
well,
a good
it's
answer.
too, and just like things you watch. I know there's like an Instagram page where somebody asks like, "Hey, what do you do? How much do you make?" It's very short, it's brief, and it doesn't get too nitty gritty into it. But kind of diving into that with just different people, like we know people in all different industries and jobs, and it's like you don't actually know what they do, and then it's like, okay, well, how much can you actually make in that role? So like helping people learn, like, okay, if I work really hard towards that, like this is what you could make doing that, instead of like being like, I don't know, that's the goal, I don't know what they make, like just kind of bringing that transparency to what you could make in a certain role and like what you actually have to do to get that job, because like to be a real estate agent, like you don't need a business degree. Sure, it helps me, and like I know how to do marketing and different things that I like went to school for, and like all of that helps. But at the end of the day, you just have to take like a course and then get your license, and so anybody can do it. And if you know that's what you want to do from the beginning, like go take that course. Like you can finish it in like 2 months or 3 months, whatever, and then you can start in that career earlier instead of going through like 4 years of like I don't really know what I'm gonna do and I just want to make like 40K once I get out. It's like, actually you learn really fast that it's like hard to live off of that salary that you thought, like, because in college you're like, I make $8 an hour. Well, not anymore, but you used to make like $8 an hour and you're like, ooh, I can make like 12. But then you get into like learning about other people's careers and you're like, dang, you can make a lot of money. So like knowing that earlier in life instead of being like, oh, well, maybe one day I'd make millions. And it's like, that's not even a lot once you get into it. So kind of just helping people understand what different career paths are out there and then like how much they could make in different roles.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of like career day at school, except instead of relying on who your parents might be for all your classmates, you are going to go out and find everybody and bring that story to the general public so that, a youngin who might be listening to us and hopefully listening to y'all's future podcast. Do we have a name yet?
When I grow up.
When I grow up. I like that. Like that's a literal, maybe not a how-to path, but at least a success story and some anecdotal true facts about like real numbers.
Right.
So
and it can just be really interesting to learn, like, we're not going to interview just everybody that works at a pharmaceutical plant because you don't want to just one industry, but like learning about what other people do, it just helps. Even if you're never going to work in that like field, then you can kind of understand better like what that person does, what their day-to-day looks like. And then if you know somebody, you're like, hey, I heard this job, I think it'd be great for you, you should look into it. Whether it's a friend, a kid, niece, nephew, whatever it is, it just kind of helps educate people.
Yeah, and there's just like such an abundance of different types of jobs.
Yeah.
Right. More than we could possibly think of.
Yeah.
And growing more and more by the day with, for lack of a better word, the internet has just like created all kinds of insane jobs that nobody would have thought of.
Right. An influencer.
Like influencer. Yeah. It's
what
like
does that even mean?
the most insane thing ever. It's like,
It's like that is a career path, like that kids put on their like career day things. I'm going to be an influencer.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
I can't confirm or disconfirm, but I would assume there is a influencer like major at colleges now.
there
might
has
fall
to
under,
be.
it might fall under marketing still, but
okay. It might fall under marketing.
There's probably like a course.
Yeah, there should be. I mean,
mean-
to deny the fact that, like, I don't like it, let's be clear. Like, I'm that guy. But also, not liking it and denying its monetary value are
Right.
different
Right.
things. I'm not denying its monetary value. Like, I don't have the, figure, or in this case, gender, to be like a high dollar influencer, but like, good for that person. Like,
Right.
ride that wave, stack that money, open an IRA. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of people like buying houses and buying all kinds of stuff off of that influencer salary.
Yeah. Perfect transition, buying houses. You're a real estate agent. And you
Yes.
mentioned that. Yeah. So how did you jump into wanting to be a real estate agent? Because you mentioned, similar to me, you have a business degree, but then similar to me, you went into a career where you just you said you had to take a class. For me, I just take an exam.
Yeah, I mean, it was like
Yeah.
I did like a hyper focus class, or it was every weekend,
Okay.
like 9 to 5 p.m. or whatever. And so for like 5 weekends, I took that class and then I took the test, and then you take the state test and all of that.
Did you pass it first time out?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
My teacher really scared me into that. He was just like, people fail, like everybody fails. If you don't do this, this, and that, you will fail. And I was like, okay, I will do all of these things.
I failed mine twice.
Yeah.
But it has an 80% failure rate.
Yeah.
Which I was like, what?
That's crazy
I was like, if
high.
it has an 80% failure rate,
Then I don't feel as bad.
honestly, I didn't feel bad failing it 2 times. But in my head, I was like, okay, 80% failure rate. That means you just want to charge us more money. So I got an idea. Make it more fair and charge twice as much. Like, what's the
That's what,
like the emotional stress of
Yeah,
having to
for real.
like just make
especially
it more
when
fair.
people start to like plan their like jobs and their careers off it. It's like, okay, as soon as I pass this, I'm gonna start doing XYZ. And it's like,
Fail.
shoot,
Stop
I passed.
everything.
I can't
Yeah.
start working now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was very fortunate in my life circumstance that wasn't the case, but that could be definitely somebody's life circumstance. And I mean, I also got my license before there was continuing ed.
Okay.
So I had to just like one day
Oh.
there was just an email that was like, starting next year, there's continuing ed now. And it was like,
Dang.
what the hell, man? Like,
Man.
like,
Yeah.
just-
After
just
like,
charge us more money for the renewal. This is silly. Like, this is silly. You just want to collect a fee.
for real. Yeah. After COVID, they like changed some of the like requirements for passing the class too. And I was like, dang, you guys didn't even have to take the test, or it was like online. Or it was like
Oh, it was all easier.
much easier. And I was like, man, I passed that the first time and before there were any like removed restrictions.
So what's the test like? Do you have like a law book you bring in, or there's no laws or codes? What?
You don't get to bring anything in. I think you get a calculator.
Oh wow, we get to bring in
think.
so many books.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
oh,
that
we
giant,
got-
the biggest, thickest blue
Oh,
book
yeah.
right there. That's
Uh-huh.
the code book.
All the code books.
Yeah, and like what you can't see is the other side that's all tabbed.
Okay, yeah.
And like I took a whole weekend class that was basically just
How
him
to
tabbing
understand
it.
this book.
Yeah. Okay,
Dang.
so this is the example I give to everybody. So if you get a question about the distance that your siding has to be above the ground, right? It's like, 12 inches for treated siding. I think it's 16 or 18 inches for untreated siding because the wood will rot.
Yeah.
So when you get that question on the test, your brain might think, I don't know, what does your brain think to look up? Siding,
Mm-hmm.
rot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go into the index. It's not under S. It's not under R. You need to know only from taking that class, because there's no other way that I could understand how you would know that particular like thing that they're asking is called decay. And you have to know where the
Dang.
decay section is. And damn right it's tabbed, because there are like 3 questions every time. Because it's like, they pull from a collection of 1,000 questions. You get like a random 200 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that test is very difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get to bring like blank paper, calculator, the
I think we
law
got blank
book.
paper.
Yeah, the law book, the code book. There's like a supplemental North Carolina, or maybe it was just Yeah, it's a North because it's like the world, or it's like the America code book, and then the North Carolina code book is like this big for like the tiny little other things.
Similar thing. It's like the national part of the exam, and then you have like a state part.
Yeah,
and apparently North Carolina's up there as for like one of the hardest states. So
okay, so can you go be a real estate agent in any state?
Not with my license. So right now I'm licensed in North Carolina. Depending on what state you go to, you can transfer like your license. Sometimes they'll require you to do like just certain continuing ed or pass their state portion, or sometimes you have to take the whole like exam again. It depends on the state.
Okay.
I haven't looked into like getting licensed anywhere else just because we're not like super close to any other states. Like if I was in Charlotte, I'd probably get licensed in South Carolina because you're so close to the border.
That makes sense.
But like here, it's like we're not that close to South Carolina and we're not that close to Virginia. That's like, I personally am not trying to like, you know, if I was trying to buy a lot of real estate there, then maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we are only an hour away from the border, but that's not like the spot you want to be in Virginia where there's like a ton of popping real estate.
Right.
It's like that's like the border and it's some farmland and
right. Like if the area between Raleigh and like that Virginia line like really blew up and you were starting to sell like both, then maybe. Yeah. And if I was maybe in North Raleigh where I was even closer, then maybe. Because there's some lake property out there, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never know. It's interesting because my contractor's license is like there are just like 8 states randomly that I can work in.
Nice.
Which just like, I didn't even look into it till I had the license. And turns out that the only reason I know is because my sister asked me, like, hypothetically, if I bought a house, would you like do this? And I was like, sure. And she lives in Atlanta. And one of the states is Georgia. So I was like, I can pull permits tomorrow. Let's go. I don't have to do anything. Like, it's one of the
You just have to learn the different county, like, whatever hoops that you got to jump through. But it's probably really similar.
Yeah, but also at the same time, I don't. Because I got to go hire a local electrician. And he's got to know the code. Yeah. And it still has to get inspected. And that inspector has to know the code. And if he fails it, that electrician doesn't get paid till he fixes it. So, like... there's some general stuff where I could be like, hey, the wires are not being pulled correctly, but like the specific, you know, her section of Atlanta, like Buckhead, which is like even a nicer section than some others, like they have some random codes. I'm not going to even know where to find them. Just get the right people.
Yeah.
You know, because none of my subs are going to come with me.
right. They're not going to drive.
No, they're not driving 6 hours, you know, and if they did, we'd have to pay to like put them up, which all of a sudden is like, no. Let's vet some local guys. We'll get 3 bids. We'll call it a day. Yeah. Okay. So what do you do?
So I'm a pharmaceutical engineer.
Okay. Pharmaceutical engineer. So you make drugs.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. What are you working on?
Right now I'm working at a site that is a contract manufacturer. So
I don't know what
larger pharmaceutical companies during their clinical trial stage don't want to build out an entire manufacturing line because they don't know if it's going to pass clinical trials or not.
Right.
So they'll contract out to another company. It's actually funny because the company I'm working for, like everyone knows the name, but like it's not even associated with pharmaceuticals at all.
Are we allowed to say it on the podcast? Because I know there's
idea.
like disclaimer things with giant conglomerates.
I have no idea. That's
okay, let's just not say it.
Like,
no, that's cool.
Signed.
Yeah.
It's in Mooresville.
Yeah. I don't edit, so let's just not say it. Yeah. Lawsuit. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Although,
my sister works in drug trials. I would say the company, but I don't remember it. Yeah, but she's pretty high up. She went to Emory for undergrad and grad, and then I think got her PhD, and and now she heads up like a massive drug trial that she just told me a couple weeks ago, like just got approved for the trials, or like to start the clinical trial, which is like the big
that's
step.
the big step.
Yeah,
that's when money really starts.
Exactly. Yeah. She was like, I'm gonna be in charge of like a $500 million drug trial now, and I was like, get it, let's go.
Right.
Buy a house, let's renovate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Buy some here.
Yeah. Oh, I have been trying to convince her to move here forever. Yeah, because she's always like my brother lives 30 minutes away with the wife and the 3 kids, and my dad and my mom, they're building, their I guess we call it vacation home, but let's be honest, they're going to be here a lot more now that they're building like their own custom home.
Like the perfect home.
It is the perfect home. Like, it's strange because we grew up in like 30 plus acres and they're building a home like on a city street in downtown Durham.
Are they ready for the city life?
I mean, it's not city life, but yeah, I mean,
Okay.
they're from, my mom was born and
Like
raised in
New York,
Manhattan,
right?
and
Okay,
my
yeah.
dad was
Okay, so
born and
she-
raised in Long Island. So like they can
used
handle
to
it.
it.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right,
And it's not like there's honking all night like New York City.
No.
Yeah.
Durham's
Quiet.
a little quieter.
Yeah. Plus, it's like historical district.
Okay.
There probably is like a noise ordinance and like
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So like so we're all here. I have got one sister on the West Coast. We're not like as close as I wish we would be, but that's a whole nother story. And Alyssa's like she's the one in Atlanta. She'll always drive up for Thanksgiving or just a random weekend. She was here 2 weekends ago. We went diving in the quarry
Oh, that's
because
right.
Oh, that's
we had to
awesome.
like test all our gear before we fly to frickin' Egypt to go scuba diving on a boat where there's no gear to rent. And so I'm just like, why don't you move here? You always
live
say you
here.
want to be closer, the family, the blah, blah. And she's like, it's not big enough. There's nothing to do, blah, blah. Like, everything's amazing in Atlanta. I'm like, you're stupid. I'm like, I love you so much. But like, there's millions of people here. There's like the same bars. We have like big name act. Dave Chappelle will be here in a month. Like, we get all the bit, it's like, just so we don't have a professional football team. Like, oh no.
Yeah,
Okay. She does.
Drive to
Yeah.
Charlotte. It's close enough.
Exactly. Yeah. But, that chip
You
sale,
have a
she
hockey
like,
team?
Canes fans?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Way
Okay.
better than football. Can't
That
compare.
is, you're going to get no argument here. Yeah. I personally don't understand football. I really wish, just like as a straight American male, that I loved it. It would be so much easier for my just general life. But I just can't get into it. I just
Yeah.
find it so silly that this like 60-minute game is 3.5 hours on TV and
Yeah.
like they only play once a week. I
Let's be
just
honest,
don't.
It's an excuse for people to drink.
You know,
4 hours.
but
At
that's
a good
lea-
point.
Honestly, more.
but that's baseball also.
Honestly, it's every
True.
sporting event if we're being honest.
I mean, for
That's why
me,
hockey has 20-minute intermissions.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. For me, as someone who doesn't drink, like I am a legit baseball fan. Like I am staring at.
Who's your team?
I'm from New York, so I'm a
Oh,
Yankees
Yankees.
fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which means
an O's
I'm in
fan.
last place. You're making a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing
not doing
some.
too bad.
You're doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure if you're an O's fan, you're at least enough of aware of everything that's going on in the division. The Yankees have been we don't build, we just buy it. And it's
Yeah.
not going to work anymore. Like that day is over. And I think like, I hate to even say it, like I don't think Aaron Judge wins a championship because I think the Yankees have to like systematically rebuild from the AAA or even the AA level, and it'll take 4+ years to really do like what Tampa Bay did. I don't know how much but they're the Bulls.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 That's right.
So like have you noticed, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but like the Bulls have won their championship
They're good.
like 8 years in a row.
Pretty impressive.
So like if you're the best and then
See,
those
that's what I
guys
tell
go
your
up,
Sister, we've got these guys. They're killing it.
I've tried.
I mean,
better than the Braves.
minor league
Yeah.
games are a lot different than major league baseball games.
I hate to say it, they're more fun.
They're different.
I love baseball. I'll watch my Yankees on TV every night. I'm missing a game actually it's a rain delay, so it's all good. They're playing Boston,
Hey,
so
there you go.
even though we suck, still a big game. But like minor league games are more fun. You're closer.
That's true.
When you're watching specifically the Bulls, it's not even really minor league baseball. Like those guys are gonna be on the roster. They're gonna go up in 3 weeks. Like
That's true.
it's a high caliber
I
level
feel
of
like
baseball.
the energy though is a little bit less hype.
Oh, for sure. There's no
So it's
waves. The
definitely-
cheering
that
is
part is
many
different,
less
yeah.
people. Yeah.
Like
but-
going to an Orioles game, yelling charge,
Oh,
all the chants,
yeah,
the
of
ketchup and
course.
mustard race.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a different vibe, but they're both
yeah.
fun. I like both.
40,000 Yankee fans screaming YMCA in the 7th inning is
It's a
different.
Little, yeah, it hits different.
It hits
different
it's
for sure.
different. Yeah.
In Durham, everybody's just like,
Yeah. I was at a wedding and they were doing the YMCA and there was only like 60 people in the wedding. So and not everybody was even so there's like 40 of us doing it, and I'm just like, this doesn't hit the same.
It's not the same.
I was literally like dancing with Jen, like they play this at every Yankee game, and this
Right?
it's not as good. The acoustics in this room are really sucking the vibe out. Like
They're ruining it.
So how does one? Do you just fall into the world of pharmaceuticals? Do you have like a PhD?
So that's like ultimately it kind of started us to start this podcast.
Oh,
like
there you go.
I've absolutely fell into the world. I have a degree in chemical engineering, which is like kind of similar, but like what I do, I've never used my degree once.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, I would argue you've probably used it because you have to be smart enough to get a chemical engineering degree to do what you do.
That's an interesting point.
You use it in that regard, but like
I could not do what he does.
That's just a matter of like a certain side of brain that you and I
Yeah.
don't share. Like I'm a visual person, so like I'm just not like, but I can do the same probably like math problems if I just do a visualized method, you know?
Yeah.
right.
But like it's so much harder for me to like talk about the project. I'll be like, let's just sketch this out real quick. Like, is this what
Wait,
you
look
want
at
to
my
look like?
picture.
Yeah, yeah. Is this what you want? No, left. Like it's way, yeah.
Yeah.
3D renderings are awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's funny though, because like I feel a lot of people like the barrier to entry in engineering is literally just the degree, and that's like the hardest part of engineering. Then like the rest of it is just tedious. Like my first job, there was this 75-year-old engineer lady who she was about to retire, and she like taught me a bunch of stuff about electricity, and she's just like, engineering is not hard. It's literally just tedious, and like that's kind of been what I've found. Like all the information's available there. Computers do all the math for you nowadays. Like half your day is spent sending emails and like coordinating between people, making sure how to communicate.
So you're more of a PM than the actual like calculator.
Yeah.
'Cause that's you got, like you said, you got supercomputers for this. Or you don't
Right.
even need a supercomputer to do
Yeah.
these kind of calculations. You just need a computer.
Yeah. You
Nowadays.
use Excel.
Yeah. I was gonna say iPhones are supercomputers
Right.
compared to like we're doing the same engineering projects.
Yeah.
Chemically completely unrelated, but the word engineer is shared for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The structural engineer I work with, it makes sense what you're saying, because like his job, Andy, if you're listening, this is not an insult. Like you're the man, and Tauca Engineering, if you need anybody in Durham, like he's the man. But like, he'll crawl under a building for 5 minutes and take a picture of somebody's real screwed up job. And then he just uses, like you said, all the resources that are already available to create the solution,
Right.
which is a super tedious document. But the tools, like he's not, the computer's calculating those loads and stuff like that. So he does an amazing job, and like he has saved my ass so many times. Like I remember specifically this guy, he's really a tile guy, RIP Chris. He was my tile guy, and he just really needed some money, and he was like, I've done all the trades. Can I like do something else? And I was like, you want to go do this crawl space support where basically like you're going to build 2 beams going the whole length of the house out of like 3 2x12s, and then, jack it up and build piers. He was like, sure. So he does it kind of how we half and half agree it should be.
Yeah.
And it does not pass code. It's sturdy, but it does not pass inspection. So the inspector is like, just no way. I don't even know what you were thinking. And I was like, okay, I got a solution. Call Andy. So I'm like, Andy, go under there. It's all new. Tell me what you think. And he's like, okay, I would have done this, but you're here now. So
Right.
make the 3-band a 4th, and then take, 18-inch sections of wood and, screw it to every other joist, like and like with these bolts. But more importantly, he put like an official piece of paper with his stamp on it.
Yep.
So that when the inspector came back, it doesn't matter what the inspector thinks. It just has to look like his piece of paper,
Very
because he overrides everything.
Yeah.
And we've done like that exact example probably 2 or 3 times where he has truly saved like what would have been weeks of ripping
out.
something out, doing it again, where it's like, okay, well, how can we just slap more in the right spots to beef it up so we
Yeah.
pass? And he's like, I got you. So it just ends up being overbuilt, which is
Right.
like, who doesn't want overbuilt?
Right.
You know?
Who doesn't want better structure?
Yeah, especially in the foundation.
Yeah, it's a good place to have it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
And like that's I feel like where the real skill in engineering is. It's not like okay, like a lot of people do like ground up, but it's like all right, well we're in this situation, like it's not ideal. Like the really good engineers I feel like can get out of that situation and like put together a solution that actually works.
Yeah, rather than just because it's much easier to be like rip it all out,
Right.
and now
Let's
that there's
start new.
nothing, start with new, fresh, modern. But like that's on no one's budget, especially in a remodel.
Yeah.
Which is more or less what my specialty has become over the years because that's just what I've been doing.
Yeah.
You know, we've been buying these houses, just gutting them to the studs, and then. Of course, my dad, the architect, is like, I don't care that wall's load bearing. We want to open this thing up. So let's just throw up a header there and redistribute, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, fine. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very common thing now is just learning well how to redistribute the like weight for load bearing walls. It's like, all right, well, we can open it up. We just have to now add, 2x4s here, this and another beam. It's not going to be completely flush, but like you could still do that.
I mean, it is basically that simple. Like,
Yeah.
If the only missing part basically of what you said is pending where you want the opening to end and where the 2x4s go down, you might have to go add cement block piers directly underneath that just because like there might not be, they framed the original structure and put bigger beams where the load bearing wall was. And then just like, you might be sitting on just plywood and it's like, okay, throw something right under there. But even that, like, we call them stacks. They're like 200, 300 a pop.
Yeah,
for
definitely
two
worth
stacks.
it if you can open up your room.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not the solution for every home, but you hit the nail on the head where it is like, it is the trending thing right now, just opening up everything. I mean, you've never been here before, but that island was a closet.
Okay.
I ripped the whole thing out and put that island in there. Those cabinets were specialty matched.
Nice.
Yeah, and get calling my countertop guy and being like, I just need more. He's like, gotcha. But yeah, I mean, that was for me very lucky. Truss, no load bearing.
Oh, nice.
Just deal with electrical and patch sheetrock.
Yeah, that is nice.
So, and then it was a matter of how do I weave in new floor and just put the new cabinets down. Yeah, I didn't even cut the floor out. The island's probably like an inch taller, but you can't tell. Yeah, I just did it on top of the floor.
It's better for your back, right?
It probably is.
Honestly.
Actually.
Especially for you.
My new house will definitely have either like custom cabinets that
Extra
are
high
a hair taller, or I'm gonna just build like
A better platform.
like if I just built a
idea.
2x4 platform,
Yeah.
2x4 plus plywood, that would be almost 4 inches.
Honestly, a good idea.
For me, it's actually a big deal. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
building my forever home at 32. So we're talking like 50 plus years of my back being saved. And I cook a
Yeah.
lot. And even if I didn't, it still would be
Right. Like
worthwhile.
you're still buttering your bread at the countertop. Like,
Exactly. Like the coffee every morning,
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
sink, like it's probably going to be the way
we
to
have
go.
one of the old like bathroom countertops. We haven't replaced it yet. And it's like this low. And I'm like, this is not good for your back. If
No.
you're, like trying to lean over this.
But also like 50 years ago, people were shorter.
I guess so. I don't know why they decided to make them so short.
Yeah, it is very interesting where like I don't even know the that's the wrong word. Thank you, of code.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point.
It's so interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who decides what code is?
Yeah, it's very, very, and when. I can't remember like the name of the dynasty or the year, but oddly enough, one of the only cool facts I can remember from my art history class that I took in college was there was one emperor of Japan whose like legacy was that he made wagon axles a specific length, and he was like, that's law, they all have to be the same length.
Good on him.
Right? I was like, that's a G.
You're like, thank goodness.
Now the
we have a
paths are the
standard.
same
Here we
length,
go.
like
Yeah.
why? That's smart. I like this
Look at
guy.
somebody using his brain.
Yeah, I was like, rather than dominate some innocent people, we're just gonna make wagons the standard.
Love
width.
it.
Like I wish I could remember his name. Would be cooler. Yeah.
Yeah, we can find it sometime.
Yeah. We need a Googler like
Yeah,
on the
right.
podcast, like Rogan. He's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
give it a goog. Like, that's that dude. Just like.
Honestly, nowadays, you probably just have AI listen to you, like you as you talk, and it'll like chime in and tell you.
You know
That'd be
what's
cool.
crazy is in 5 years, the third most popular podcast will be run by an AI, and
Yeah.
we will not
Oh,
even
yeah.
know. We
Because
won't know.
it'll be interesting because it's going to do so much research on the podcasts that do well, how they talk, their inflection, the topics, like how they cover material, and like it's just going to spit it back out like that.
Yeah, and it will work.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast today about AI. It's pretty wild.
I was talking to, I don't know if you met him, but it was the same meet and mingle networking event. Noah Crawford. He's like a video kind of
Think I
person.
did.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna make me a video business card
Oh,
and
nice.
like do some like live action shots of some projects and stuff like that. We had a podcast and a lot of it was on AI. Yeah, we were like, okay, Terminator, we love this movie, let's go. Like, I fully think we're heading for doom.
Well, that's what this one I was listening to is talking about, is that we need to like, and I can't remember which guy it was, but
It's
it's a
okay.
guy that like created AI for one of the big companies. And
Is
he
it
was
Lex Friedman?
maybe. It was on Stephen Bartlett's podcast.
I don't know who Stephen Bartlett is, but No.
But he was interviewing him, and he's like, we have, like, it's not if we can contain it, like, we have to contain AI. Like, it can't get out of hand.
oh yeah. I
Yeah.
personally think we're past the point of no return.
Yeah.
Like, we don't realize it.
Right.
Like the point we realize it will be several
late.
years after it happened, and it will be too late. Like, we will give, I probably am mixing in a bunch of different movies, but in reality, like, something will probably happen where some government agency will deploy some AI to help, and it
So
will just be a
wild.
matter of time before it is like taking
Wild.
over and infiltrating, and it's iRobot meets Stealth meets Terminator, and
It
it'll
makes
just
Wally
be
come, like, fully to life.
100%.
So
Yeah,
wild.
except Wally ends cute, and it's not gonna end cute.
That's true.
Yeah, it's gonna end Terminator. It's not
Yeah.
gonna end Wally.
Yeah, it's going to be real weird.
It's gonna be real weird. Yeah. How crazy is that Wally movie though?
Yeah, that is really interesting to think about now. Like, that robot that's,
Yeah.
like, turns evil.
Even forgetting the AI part, just like how it totally put a mirror to like humanity of like Big Lot shopping and just lining the earth with satellites, and it just like we completely just destroying this gorgeous rainforest we were given once upon a time. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. Such an
Wow.
adorable movie though. It's crazy how they
Right.
put
Ends
that.
with, like, pizza growing trees or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Love
Pizza
it.
trees. Yeah. It's just like that Barbie movie. It's like such a good movie. Absolutely
Oh,
hysterical.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't
Oh
seen it.
man,
Is it
I
good?
thought it was really good.
Okay. I've
Yeah.
heard good things about it, so I
The only negative stuff I've heard is from like people whose opinion I don't
agree.
bother to care with, and like they would be the type of people who would like make this bigger than it is.
Yeah.
And they're just like insecure with their masculinity, and I'm like, okay, well, you would hate this movie, but you really should just look at yourself with a therapist. But like, it's hysterical. It's making people mad because it's holding up a mirror. It's just holding up a mirror, and we are living it in real life. So if you don't like what the movie's saying,
Right.
think about why you don't like it.
I've got some movie theater gift cards. It's on my list of
Yeah.
things to use
Yeah.
them for.
I compared it not in its content, but just in its like mirror holding up essence to the Chappelle, like scandalous stand-up special where like trans people just like went after him like a sledgehammer. And I was like, none of you have listened to his special, because if you listen to the special, it's nothing but love, and it's a mirror, and you just don't like what is in the mirror.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember I've stole that saying from my dad, actually, because we were talking about Dave Chappelle one day, and he was like, yeah, I see this on CNN. They're really going after him. And I was like, do you have an hour and 4 minutes? Because it's on Netflix. And I made my parents watch it. and they were dying the whole time. And my dad literally was like, I don't understand the hate. He's holding up a mirror. And I was like, oh, I'm stealing that line. Like, you're so right. But he just like, it took him one second. I don't know if either one of you have seen the Chappelle special.
It's one of his like best ones by far.
Yeah.
Too.
So I mean, am I misspeaking? Like, curious your opinion if you've seen it. Like, to me, it's very much like he's, especially the specific like transgender hate that was coming. Like, he's telling this gorgeous story about a really good friend who's a trans person who killed themselves, and it's like an amazing story about a great friend, and it's definitely just holding up a mirror. I don't know how else to say it. Like,
I feel like comedy does that a lot of times. Like
that's comedy's job.
Yeah, it's comedy's job to like take a sucky situation and like put a different spin on it, and like,
and who does it better?
Right.
Nobody.
Right. It helps you actually get through whatever you're trying to say, because people are like, okay, it's funny. It's not really. It's serious, but we have to like finish getting out whatever it is, and so it's very interesting.
It is very interesting, and we don't have to continue ranting about Dave Chappelle. I just thought it was really funny. Like, I would watch the special and then hear like, you know, a 4-second clip taken out of context and them just attacking him, and I'm like, you can't take stand-up comedy out of context. If you read stand-up comedians' jokes like a court stenographer, it would be the most vile, awful, terrible shit ever on the planet Earth. It would be like, stop reading the smut. Like, think about your favorite comedian and like Family People even, you know, Robin Williams. His stand-up was raunchy as all could be. You can't out of context that. You know, like George Carlin.
You just can't take it out of context. It's like, and then people get all. It's like, come on, people are literally creating like clickbait.
I was
like,
just gonna say this is the clickbait thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Are you guys big
works for
news
marketing.
people?
No.
Yeah. I find that
Unless
it
there's
is.
a hurricane coming.
I mean, I feel like in a
Then
healthy
it's
way.
interesting.
Like, it's not like, hey, let's be ignorant to what's going on, but like, I can't let that control my life.
I found that it just like, it's a never-ending just recourse of bad.
And that's the thing, is they literally like, they're not gonna make money if they're marketing good things. People are just gonna stop watching it. People want to watch and know what's going on that's bad. Honestly.
But you just said even bigger with that, and you glossed over it so quick without even knowing it. They want to make money.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, news organizations are owned by companies. That companies have board of directors and
and
stockholders,
like,
and
you
they
turn
want
on the
money.
news, they're gonna tell you who got murdered here, who got murdered here. They're not gonna tell you who planted flowers down the street. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Every time we go visit Maryland, my grandma's like, people died on. I mean, given Baltimore a little on the unsafe side, depending on where you go and what you get involved in. But
I mean, my parents are from the city, and we live in Durham. I mean, everywhere it's dangerous.
Right,
like,
but it's like, you can't live your life in fear of.
No.
Yes, you should be smart when you go XYZ places.
Very different sentence, and very, very true.
But you can't live in fear of, like, I'm never going to go here and have brunch.
Yeah, exactly.
In a certain location.
Yeah, because eggs are delicious, especially when they're overpriced.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And when you have a
That was
water,
a brunch hate,
when you have a
unnecessary.
waterfront view, it makes the eggs taste better.
Does it? Oh, okay. That's the secret.
Yeah, you haven't tried it yet?
No, not with
It's
the
like
water
salt
view.
water,
That's
you know?
Yeah, you gotta have the
okay.
waterfront
A little
view,
bit.
cobblestone roads.
So, are you from Baltimore?
I am.
Are you big? Was it soft shell crab? That's their thing, right?
Not necessarily soft shell. I guess there's
Oh,
just
okay.
all crab.
What's the Baltimore? Oh, it's just crab.
Just crab.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
just all the crabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just like their thing?
It is. If you
Yeah,
go around
yeah.
the city, they just have like statues of like crabs everywhere.
Okay.
Crabs in the flag.
The flag. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Maryland people have like wild pride in their flag. Like,
Really?
wearing the Maryland
Okay.
flag is like a thing. Like,
Oh.
and it's not like you would never see anybody wear the North Carolina flag.
I don't even know what the New York State flag looks like.
Yeah, Maryland State
I was a
flag
Boy Scout.
pride is
I don't even couldn't
huge.
tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd see an American flag shirt all day long.
Yeah.
Isn't that a little isn't it a little crazy that like dropping the flag is a crime? But
Yeah.
we could cut it up and make it a shirt.
Technically, you're not allowed to wear it. Apparently, there's a law against that. Actually, there's
No. Obviously, those aren't real flags.
Right,
It's
right.
like a print.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
even still, isn't that
It
kind
is
of like
really interesting.
it's going the opposite way? I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do like wearing flag stuff. So.
I'm not judging you. I'm
Yeah,
just saying
no,
it's
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
It is interesting, though.
It's
I
very
agree.
interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, Maryland State flag pride is like
Okay.
up there.
What's the best food at Camden Yards? Is it crab related?
Ooh, yeah. There's like nachos. They're like loaded nachos that have crab meat
nachos.
on them. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
man.
so good.
I'm not even a crab guy, but that
Their
sounds
nachos are
good.
fried. I think they're nachos. I haven't made.
You
it to a
need
game.
to know
I haven't
of
made
the
it to a
three
game
people.
this season. It's nachos, right?
It's nachos. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
looking at him. Are you from Baltimore?
Well, he's been with me.
I've been to the game.
Where are you from?
I'm from Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
but my
North Carolina
family's-
boy.
Yeah, but my family's all from like San Diego, so they moved over
Oh,
like
cool.
a couple years before I was born. So like, I'm not like deep South roots
Gotcha.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Probably for the better.
Yeah.
Probably
Just for like
Yeah.
politics and
Yeah.
like general happiness.
I can own a house now. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I was just in Encinitas in March.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
Visiting my like best bud from California. Shout out Ernie. He's a private eye out in Encinitas.
Oh, that's
And
That's fun.
yeah, he works for like, lawyers.
It's like some Veronica Mars stuff.
It's probably not as cool as the show, but he does have some cool gear. Yeah, like
bet
these
that's pretty
crazy
fun.
cool
That's
cameras
wild.
and stuff, and he will like use his Tesla and the fact that his Tesla can record to like catch people.
Interesting.
It's really cool. Like
Wow.
if you like cameras and tech stuff, but like he'll be the first to tell you that it's like sometimes I got to drive like 4 hours to sit somewhere for 6 hours and I see nothing and it was a waste of a day and that sucks. And I'm like, yeah, that does suck. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but if you were making a show about his life, they would edit all that out and it would look better
Right,
on the
right,
A&E
right.
channel.
It's like selling sunsets. People are like, "Oh, I'm gonna become a real estate agent, like selling sunsets." I'm like, that's not
2 minutes
how-
a day.
where-
Yeah.
I don't. Where do you get this list of like buyers that can own $30 million properties? Because I don't know about that list in Raleigh, but I haven't found it yet.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not just handed to you after you pass your exam. Like,
Right. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that. So, okay, you wake up, you've passed the exam.
Woo.
BFD, like you're not known, you're green, you
Yeah.
probably, I mean, definitely compared to somebody 40 years in the industry, don't know the ins and outs. You might not have your closing attorneys lined up, your inspectors lined up. So, like,
Yeah.
are you under a bigger umbrella that has kind of like helped you and they kind of like take you in as like a training situation?
Yeah. So I started. My aunt is a realtor in Youngsville, so I started with her.
Okay.
It was a really small firm, so it was helpful. She, showed me the ropes and how to do things, but it was also really far from where I lived, so driving all the way out there, and it wasn't a big office where there were like a lot of people to learn from. It was-
And y'all are in Raleigh, North Raleigh?
we
We're in
were in
Cary.
Morrisville. We're in Cary now.
Okay, Cary. Cool.
So there wasn't anybody else to learn from really other than her. And I was like, I need more people in the office because, she would always ask me to do showings for her when she was out of town. I was like, what happens when I go out of town? Like,
Right.
I need people in like a support system too. So I, was talking to somebody else about their firm, and I wasn't really looking to switch because I was working with family. But they were telling me about, their office and all the people that were there and the systems and things that they had in place. Still solo, so not on a team, but I have an office full of like a lot of great agents that if I do go out of town, they can help with showings or whatever I might need. And then also if I just have a question, like there's like a lot of different people to ask and be like, hey, what's your opinion? What should I do? So learning from that. I also joined a coaching program earlier on because I was with such a small firm. I was like, I literally have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
Is this a coaching program for business, life, or realty specific?
This is real estate specific.
Okay.
So it's Tom Ferry is like the #1 real estate coach.
Let's say it louder.
Tom Ferry.
Tom Ferry. Okay.
Yeah, so he's #1 real estate coach. So I was
Does he have like, Tom Ferry Realtorcoach.com or something like that?
he does.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
It's a big deal.
Cool.
No,
No,
I mean, in the real estate world, he has a lot.
No,
of
I mean, if he
trainings, a lot
helped
of
you out
coaches.
and it ended in a great way,
Yeah.
then I would like to shout him out. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, because I'm sure there's somebody listening who's like, real estate's probably the move.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
that was really helpful because I was like, I have literally no idea what I'm doing. And I kept asking Nate all these questions. He's like, oh no, I'm not a real estate agent either. So I was like, okay.
So correct me, because there's like one that's above the other. The realtor or the real estate agent, like somebody's above somebody, or I have the terms
Some
wrong.
states are different. They have like sales associates. Realtor and real estate agent are like pretty much the same in North Carolina. A realtor is an association you join. Once you've joined the association, you're a realtor.
Okay.
It's not. You're still a real estate agent. Some states have like sales agents, and then they have brokers. In North Carolina, everybody's a broker once you get your license. So that's a little different from other states.
So when there's like a bunch of realtors, they're all licensed realtors,
yeah.
but they all work for, you know,
You have to be
blah
licensed
real
under
estate.
a firm. You have to like affiliate with a firm.
Oh, okay.
So you could have your own firm, but you can't have your own firm until you've got like at least 2 years experience.
Okay. Do you have your own firm?
I don't, just because I haven't felt the need to start one yet. I like where I'm at.
So you have your own license, but
Yep.
you're under a firm. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by somebody's above
Yeah.
somebody. So who's the firm that you're
I'm with Costello Real Estate and Investments.
Okay. Costello Real Estate and Investments.
Yeah, so you have to have a broker in charge, and then I'm a broker. After 2 years, you can like apply to be a broker in charge. Once you're a broker in charge, you can start your own firm. I just don't feel the need to start a firm yet. Maybe like someday down the road.
What's
but
the like association with whoever you're working? Do they get a percent?
Yeah, so they have a percentage. So every firm, depending on where you are, they take like a percentage. And so it varies depending on where you're at, if you're on a team or if you're solo. And then if they give you leads or if you just find your own leads. Sometimes you can, like if you do decide to take company leads, it's a lower split, like 50-50 on like whatever it is. So that's like really the biggest thing you look for when you're shopping around for different firms is like, all right, how much money am I going to take? How much money are you taking off the top? Like, what are the different
what you're
fees?
getting for those fees?
Yeah, like, and sometimes it's worth it. Like, a lot of people are on a team, and like, if I had started again, I might start on a team because there's trainings, and like, you have to be in the office, and they're gonna make sure you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and then they're gonna give you leads. They're also gonna take a heavy percentage of your commission more often than not.
Right,
So,
but if you're doing 30% more volume and you're losing a
Exactly.
bigger percentage,
Yeah.
like that could work out until 2 years come up and you're ready to either
Yes.
renegotiate or branch out or go to a smaller boutique thing or
right.
whatever the option might be for you with your personal career.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the thing is like figuring out like what's your goal? Like, do you want to do 50 transactions and make like 30%, or do you want to do
Yeah.
like 20 transactions and make like 70%?
Yeah. My Mark Simpson's been on this podcast. You know, I don't know if he's doing more or less. It's irrelevant, but like by design, he'll maybe sell 5 houses a year, but they're $1 million plus,
Yeah.
and he just doesn't like.
So after that, you're like, cool, I'm good.
Well, yeah, and but also like he's just like he had a very successful career before this. His wife has a very successful business, so it's like they're powerhousing.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I don't have to chase $200,000 house sales. He's like, I can
Right.
just, you know.
And when you're getting those leads too, more often than not, they're like $200,000 price range in the middle of nowhere, and then you drive out there and they're not pre-approved, and like you're chasing a lot
Yeah.
of things, and
Yeah.
it's part of the process of learning, but like that's where you figure out like what you want to do.
Yeah,
Do you
Mark
wanna-
has just
yeah.
completely positioned himself to be like, if you want,
a luxury home.
a luxury home within 30 minutes of Durham, you call Mark, and that's what he does. And as far as doing that, I don't know that, like, let me be clear. Stacy could totally do it, but like that's all Mark does.
Yeah.
Like that's his niche,
Right.
whatever. Just end of conversation, and he's so happy, and
Yeah.
like he has designed that.
Right. And
I
that's what I think
don't-
what you got to get clear on when you start looking around for firms, because you have to be somewhere.
Right.
And fresh, you can't start your own. So you got to pick where. And there's a lot of online firms that don't take as much of a split, but like you're not going to get training or tools. So like finding that balance of like, okay, these are the tools I want. They provide them. The split's good. The people I like there, they have an office. They don't have an office. Whatever you know.
Yeah.
So
So before we switch gears a little bit, for people listening and also just generally because your story is of interest, how did you figure out what gear you wanted to be in terms of like what kind of real estate you were more interested in selling?
I mean, I guess ultimately I started off just kind of wanting to help people I knew. So friends, family that I had in the area that I wanted to be able to help. So I've done a lot of more buyers just because, you know, that's my sphere. And so ultimately I want to work with my sphere, people I know. You know, you attract people that, you know, you attract your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah, gotcha.
But like,
You want to be your friend group's realtor.
Right. I want to be the
Yeah.
go-to resource, be able to help them. So that's kind of I didn't want to go crazy and I didn't want to go into a team now because I'm like, well, I kind of know what I need to do. if I want to do a high volume of leads, I know where I can get them to pay for them.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wanted to be on a team for other reasons, then I could. But that wasn't really the speed that I wanted. I kind of just decided like I wanted to be a little bit slower of a pace and make more commission. You know, I knew people. I know how to like find leads and can nurture them. So I guess I kind of fell into where I am. I don't know. I think getting into it, I didn't shop around a lot because my aunt had her own firm. So
Right.
it was like immediately assumed like, all right, I don't know. I'll join you. Sure. I have literally no idea what I'm getting into. So I just joined her. I think initially if I were to recommend to somebody, I would say shop around, feel out the different options. Like, especially if you go somewhere, you'll be like, oh, they said they offered this. Do you offer this? Like, you'll be able to compare because it's like reverse interviewing as a real estate agent. You're not really, some firms you're interviewing for them.
It's a good way of putting it.
But like really
interview.
you're interviewing them and they want you to come work for them ultimately because you pay them a split.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I got into real estate. I was doing software sales and then engineering services and then was like, I don't want to just work in an office forever. I want to have a flexible schedule where I can work all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really think that one through, but here we are. It's fine. It is flexible. I can work at the pool in Mexico. Is that what you want to do in the pool in Mexico? Like, maybe not, but, like, it's fine.
It's definitely not what you want to do in the pool in Mexico.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
But,
not.
you know, we'll see. We're figuring out that, like, balance. But it is nice being able to help people, like, regardless of where I am, I still can. And that's what I like about, like, the firm I'm at. Typically, I can find somebody to help. Like, if I'm out of town, like, hey, are you going to be here? I have a couple clients that I'm working with right now. If they need a showing, can you help them out kind of thing?
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, it's just, like, fine-tuning those different things.
Yeah. And then you got to have that balance for sure. Yeah. So switching gears a little bit, you guys are investing in a drastically fast, quick flip of a house at Cary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that we had talked about partnering up on it. It didn't work out for us in this one. So I guess the tiniest bit of backstory for listeners, it's basically, you know, a house that has like fantastic guts and no structural problems that is in the like 650 range.
Well, we bought it at 650.
Bought it at 650 and it needs like basically a full facelift of, you know, 2 bathrooms, the whole kitchen, all the floors, the in and out paint, and all the windows and trim. And then the hope is to try to sell it for, what was it, like $950?
We're hoping like low to mid 9s. We'll kind of see where the market is once we like get it finished and on the market. I know there's one that recently just went under contract, so we'll see where it closes at. And then there's another one that might be up for sale soon. So we'll kind of see where the comps fall. But ultimately, like that, like size like range and doing new, there's not a lot of new construction in that area, so we're kind of like, obviously you can't fully compare it to new construction,
right? For sure.
But once you make everything about it new, it's close as comparable as new construction, and the new construction that's in the area doesn't have the prime location that this one does. Like this one has a solid lot and it's in a really nice established neighborhood, so that's kind of where we're looking at. So hopefully mid 900s is hopefully what we'll be looking at.
Also, from the builder's perspective, new construction is crap. Yeah. Unfortunately, like the videos that I see online shock me. I don't know if you follow this one dude. It's hysterical. This black dude, he's a building inspector, and his tagline is, "That ain't right."
Oh, yeah.
Just all the time. He'll just video stuff, and he'll just be like, "Look at that," and then he'll flip the camera, and just be like, "That ain't right. That ain't right." It's so funny, and like the stuff that he finds baffles you. Like
the framing inspections just
oh
blow my mind.
God,
I'm like, that's terrifying.
There's this one inspector who I guess he's just getting famous due to the like massive amounts of content, because I guess that's how people get, you see. But he's like in Arizona. He's like this ginger kind of balding dude, and he's just crawling around new constructions all the time, and he's just like, what were they think? What? He's like speechless all the time. And then the next video will be like, hey, dickhead user 743 who says the code is this. Here's the code book. You're wrong. Like, I do this for a living. Dude in his mom's basement.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. He just like shuts everybody. He goes hard. It's so
The interesting thing
entertaining.
is, it's like you can't. I mean, sometimes like you can narrow it down to like a certain builder, like they don't build up to a certain quality. But a lot of times, even like regardless of who the like big builder is, like it comes down to the subs that they end up getting hired, and
A lot of times it's the same subs.
a
So
lot of
it's-
times it is, or
yeah.
sometimes like they have teams that switch, and like when they switch, it's like the quality switches, and so it's like you just really never know. I always recommend my clients still get an inspection with the new construction, just because they're going to catch things, and then as you're in the new construction process, then they have to fix them because you're like, this is what the inspection report says. Why is it? I'm buying a brand new house. Why is this coming up?
So nobody has hired me to do it, but I totally would. And honestly, if you're doing a new construction, I think it would be in your best interest to hire a second general contractor. Like, let's say you're building a house and you're a general contractor and she hires you to build the house, right? Okay, cool. It's 500 grand. You're going to build her a house. Obviously, at the various stages, there's the like city inspections, you know, like electric,
Right.
HVAC, whatever. And you're recommending getting like a home inspection probably at the end.
I do. So we do pre-drywall. So that way you see the framing, and then at the end, depending on what time you go under contract.
Yeah. So in this scenario, you're
be
like
late.
doing it from the beginning.
Oh,
it's
okay.
not like you're getting
Yeah.
under contract with like a dude who's building 60 lots or something.
Right,
Like you're
right.
just, custom build or whatever. I think that it should become a standard practice that you hire a third party contractor for like $5,000 who does 5 specific inspections
Yeah.
to just be like, I see 65 things I love, and these 10 things really freaking bother me. Maybe they're not even like have to be fixed, but you should have a discussion with your builder about
Right.
these.
Right.
And
Like,
I-
do you like this little weird nook over here? Like,
Right,
maybe
or
restructure that.
yeah, or like this is minimal code on this bracing. Maybe
Right.
now's the time to throw in some extra something or another, or like
You
whatever
put
the
a
example
workout
may
room
be.
up here, you're gonna be like falling through the ceiling.
Right. Yeah. Just or like now's the time to add that wiring for that thing you want in 5
Yeah.
years, because it's really hard to do it later with the drywall and the spray foam and the what
Yep.
have you and the what have you. Yeah. So did you find the property just like realtor poking around and you like this popped up, or were you two like we had dinner one night and you were like, you know what would be fun? Let's get into the house flipping business.
We were already kind of looking at like getting into house flipping. We
Okay.
kind of flipped our own. We haven't sold it, so we haven't like fully flipped it, but we
Okay, so
gutted it,
your
renovated
your
it.
experience is gutting and renovating and living in your home, but
Yeah.
not the success of, not that it won't be, but not the direct
We got a
success
reappraisal, so we like
of, okay,
what we could sell for. So that it's a little bit of like shows what, but we plan on keeping it forever.
okay,
So
Yeah.
we'll hopefully never have that sale.
I gotcha. But the reappraisal makes you think the numbers wise everything.
Yeah, we
worked.
bought it for like $356. Did a decent amount of work. Honestly, I don't know exactly what we spent because we just kind of did it, but it's probably around $80K. And then a good bit of that was covered by insurance, and then we got it reappraised for $517. So I don't know
Okay.
how our house is worth $500,000, but
Well, you're in Cary.
Carry effect.
that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, families
pretty
think Cary's
impressive.
cool.
Hey, we're here for it.
I don't get the appeal. I have no shade on Cary, but like I also am not a family with like kids.
Yeah.
So like my brother and his wife, they're like, Cary and Apex are amazing, but like they roll around with twin 3-year-old girls
Yeah, that's
and a
fair.
6-year-old, and it's like that is where
Yeah.
you would go. Yes,
Yeah.
I see that. for
Yeah, we
sure.
like the centralness of like the like between Durham and Raleigh, and then like also
Yeah.
the east side. Because for me, I kind of go down to Clayton sometimes for work,
Yeah.
and then I go up to Durham. I've gone to Graham before, so like
Okay.
it's a good
that's
like
up
pretty
there.
central spot. But also we bought it in 2021 when it was like hard as heck to buy a house, and it just
Ooh,
needed
yeah.
a lot of work, and it was on the market for 3 weeks, which was a long time at that point. So
Yeah.
it needed a lot of work.
So it probably like you probably even got a bigger gap because like the prices then were so much higher than like
well,
the
we
average.
went under contract and then it appraised low, and we told them like, hey, we're not paying anything higher than it appraised at, and they came down. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was like unheard of at the time. It was wild.
yeah.
You know, that has always confused me, where it's like you agree to pay for this house at listing and then it appraises different. Like, I don't give a shit. You said you'd buy it at this amount.
Yeah.
Like, can you elaborate maybe?
Yeah.
Like, cuz
I
don't.
mean, I feel like too, it depends on like going into it. So like during 2021, 2020, whatever, like people were offering way higher than like what they were listed at.
Yeah.
And so it was like you really need to understand like your lender is only going to lend based off of what it appraises at. So if you're getting 80% of 300 like and it appraises for 280, they're only going to lend you 80% off of 280. You're going to have to make up that $20,000 gap. So I think just as a buyer, you have to understand like we need to look at the comps, see where the appraiser is going to come in, because if you're getting a loan, that plays a big role. If you're paying cash, then like you're paying cash. But I think showing like, hey, we're getting a loan for this, so we're offering, thinking that it's going to appraise at this amount. If you're offering way higher than what they've listed it at, then you have to take into consideration, it's probably not going to appraise, because more often than not, they're going to list it at where they think it's going to appraise. You don't want to overlist your house. It sits on the market, looks bad. Like, if you overprice it, people are going to come under, and like you just want to price it where you think it's going to appraise, where the actual like value is. And so then the lender's also only going to lend based off what the value is. So that's kind of where that comes in. So I feel like it depends on the market. Like when it was crazy, it's like, hey, well, you offered $50,000 higher. You knew the risk of like if it were to appraise. Nowadays, it's like, well, hey, you priced it like $5,000 off. Can you come down? And they're like, well, okay, maybe we priced it high.
But like, especially when people throw like insanely high due diligences, and then you get that
I mean,
appraisal
that's
back,
the
and
thing.
you lose the due diligence.
Yeah, like if you want to back out at that point, it's like if they don't come down, and you have to understand that risk of like, hey, if it appraises low, the sellers aren't willing to come down. I have to make up the difference. If I don't want to make up the difference, I lose my due diligence. Like,
yeah, and like if you put down a $10,000 due diligence, like
you're probably not backing out.
Right, or like if you are, I just made 10 grand and I did nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what a great day. Like,
Right.
let's do that again. How do we figure that out?
Exactly.
Yeah. Seems like shady and illegal borderline, but like.
Yeah, I think the biggest part is like the due diligence puts a little bit of skin in the game for the sellers. It's like, all right, hey, I accepted your offer. I'm letting you do inspections. I took it off the market. Like, we rejected other offers sometimes, like if there were other offers.
For sure, yeah.
We held it aside for you, and now you're backing out. Like, I mean, if it's a higher due diligence, like 10 to 50K, it's like, that's solid. They'd rather you walk away, honestly.
Oh, for sure. I heard granted, they ended up keeping the house, so all good, but I heard a story of somebody who went like 80 over asking with a $65,000 due diligence.
Did it appraise?
I don't know any of that, but I know they got the house.
Yeah,
like,
well, and that's the thing. Like, I had clients do that too, and like, the conversation was like, you're gonna buy it regardless of what it appraises at. Like,
Right.
You need to be prepared. Like, this is where we think the appraisal's probably gonna come in, so we might be off 30K because we're offering more. Are you prepared to cover that?
Right.
And so, like, yeah, like really making sure you have that conversation with your realtor of like, okay, we're prepared. Like, we understand how that all works, because it is confusing.
It's
like,
very confusing,
what is
and
an appraisal?
I'm in the industry,
Right?
and it's very confusing. You're like the 30th realtor who's been on this podcast, and I'm always like, could you just say it again? Because I don't really. It's stupid. We should just call it a deposit,
Right.
a non-refundable deposit.
Well,
like
in other
use
states,
English,
have
like,
it refundable.
or have it refundable. Yeah, something.
Like we don't have it refundable, so like it's like one of those things where you got to be have a little bit of like risk tolerance.
Wait, time out. That's a state law?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can't just like make up your own contract that's like, we're giving you 500 due diligence state law, and here's our own contract with a $5,000 refundable one or something like.
You might be able to draft something that says a refundable one.
Just got to get it notarized, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
I mean, it's not common practice, and it's not one of our like state forms. So
Fair
I
enough.
don't know how that would like go over, but I mean, if you get somebody to agree to it, then maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But typically, like if there's no other offers, it's always ideal if you can just do a low due diligence. It's like,
Yeah.
here's $500.
What's your horror story? Because mine is my own horror story of like not being able to get my realtor. It's not her fault at all, Stacy. I love you, but like in order to get even though there was a physical road, in order to get the actual like right to drive down it, I had to get like 6 people, all who inherited a
That's
part of
the
a
worst.
trust,
Oh gosh.
to
That's
all
the
basically
worst.
just sign a piece of paper that was like a road maintenance agreement. And it was such a like hassle that after so many months, I was like, I got an idea. Give me my $850 back and you guys go to hell. And I bought different land. But like that's my personal biggest horror story. What have you got?
I'm trying to think.
Give me
I
some
don't-
juice.
I don't know. But I
My
feel like
sister had that exact same thing happen.
Yeah.
Their driveway is like parallel to another road for like 200 yards just because they won't get road rights. It's like,
Yep.
it's so dumb.
Wha-
What's
Why?
crazy is in North Carolina, it is illegal to have locked land.
Mhm.
So like by law, I had to have access.
Right.
And there was a road. So it was literally just a paperwork thing. I was young and dumb, and I should have just been patient because it would have gotten sorted. It just could have taken a year.
Ah,
And like it wasn't like I was ready to build. I'm not ready to build
So
now.
wait, what'd you lose? 850.
What?
What'd you lose? You backed out of it. You said.
Actually, I lost nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Stacy,
She got it back.
she got like all but I think like 200 of it back, and then she gave me the $200.
That's
Oh,
nice.
I think like
There
out
you
of
go.
her own pocket because she forgot to hit continue on the due diligence and it ran out. And I
Oh,
was
I
like,
gotcha.
no, I don't want to do it. And she was like, no, I'm going to get you everything back. And like, there was like a check for a weird amount and then like $200 in cash. And I was like, it took me a month
I'll take it.
it took me a month to figure out. I was like, Stacy probably just like gave me that $200. Like, I better take her out
Honestly,
to
sometimes
dinner.
I was gonna say sometimes as a realtor, you're like, I can't handle explaining this. Here, I'll take the loss.
I mean, the $200 for the like work and business that we've given her is a wash.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we've
Right.
yeah. We've,
Right.
She's our family realtor. Like
Yeah.
even if my mom finds a house that she has nothing to do with, we're like run it through Stacy so she gets
Right.
like her thing. Like
Yeah.
say Stacy, pull the comps, like pull the
Yeah.
plot plan, like blah blah blah. Yeah. So to circle back, you guys were casually already kind of talking about investing together.
Yeah.
yeah.
And was that just kind of like, you know, you're a realtor, that's a common thing? Did you bring it up? Like, how does that
He
come
got us
about?
involved in this like community. He bought some NFT through Ryan Pineda.
What's NFT?
Yeah, so I bought NFT. It's like a crypto token. It's called a
my God.
non-fungible.
I hope you lost all your money. Oh my God. I hope you lost
We bought
everything.
it not for the sake of like thinking we were gonna like get money off of crypto, but more so as like buying into a community of like knowledge, trainings. So essentially getting into a community, and it wasn't like wildly ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like a $2,500 buy-in and like.
To the cult of crypto.
But
We
it was
meet
interesting.
every Sunday in a church with a crypto logo where the Christ would be. No, I'm sorry.
There's people like that. Like it's funny because in the
Dude, it's
community, there's like
hysterical.
the whole
It is
point of the
wild.
project is to like bridge like real estate and crypto, and so you have people in like both realms. And like the people who are straight crypto are so interesting. Like they're just like off the wall, like super creative, but they're all like super wealthy for the most part because like they just made a lot of money in like all the different bull runs.
I guess like don't misinterpret my skepticism, but like, is it real money or they just have like a lease on everything and they're house poor and it's like digital currency that's not real? Like if
Well,
they have,
took it out at the right time. Hopefully they have.
Yeah.
well, I'm just saying, like if they
Yeah.
show you a computer that says they're $10 million in Dogecoin, that means nothing to me.
Right.
Like how
Yeah.
much real money can we go spend on season tickets at the Bulls? Like,
Yeah.
like that's why I'm like,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
You know, I get more is more, but like,
Yeah.
you know, in a phone call, my real life stocks become real life money in
Right.
12 hours. And I
Right.
have
Yeah.
like actual tangible dollars. Like there's no conversion of like this fake crypto myth thing.
This one got us digital art, so we have
Yeah.
these little like characters that are just specific to us.
Okay.
I don't do
And-
anything. We don't do anything with them. Like that's not really
Yeah.
why we got into it. It was more so like to get into the community.
Digital art as like I feel
It's-
dumb.
It looks like I don't
Yeah,
know. It looks like a
it's-
cartoon.
It's literally just like I think of it kind of like a credit card. So like it's
Okay.
basically like a credit card that you use to get into like a airline club.
Oh,
So like,
like for the miles.
yeah,
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 get it
yeah.
for the
kind of
miles.
like that.
So you
It's
bought a
like-
membership pass.
Essentially,
Basically.
Cool,
it's
cool,
just
cool.
through that. So Within that, we've gone to, like, we can use the cryptocurrency to buy tickets to these conferences. You can buy them with regular money, but we can use our crypto coins.
Yeah.
So we've gone to these conferences, just heard like really big speakers within the real estate world, just investing in general, a lot of really good speakers. And just gotten involved with the community of people in this, as a lot of real estate investors and just honestly investors in general in a lot of different things.
Yeah, it's been really cool. Like, we went to Cabo with like the people who have bought into the project, and it was really cool because you have people who have done crypto, became really good friends with a guy who like builds ADUs in San Diego, and then like another guy who's a designer out of LA who builds multi-million-dollar houses custom. And so it's just like a wide range of people, which is really neat.
And like the Cabo trip, like that one, you could only go if you had bought into this crypto, and it was like, I think it was only like 60 people or something. So it's a very exclusive group, which allows you to meet all these people and learn from like really neat people, which has been cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally met at a networking event. It is the name of the game.
It really is.
Yeah.
And with like paid, I mean, we've kind of started learning like all networking events you can learn from whoever's there. But with paid one, you like kind of start to see like these other people are paying to be in the room too. So if people are paying to be in a room, it just elevates like the level of networking that you're going to get to, which is cool.
Yeah, I went to one tonight. It was garbage. I won't go back.
Yeah.
0 for 2.
Yeah. See, that's a bummer.
Yeah. 0 for 2. Yeah. And I was like, okay, the first time sucked. I'm going to give it another shot. Nope.
There's a good one on Wednesday.
I will be deleting those. I'm going to one on Wednesday to
could be the same one.
Rockstar Connect in Durham.
Oh, no, it's a different one.
Yeah. Well, I'm not getting rid of my Wednesday because it's at Nomu, and I love that restaurant.
All
so
right,
that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, but so we got into that. Circling back, we
Yeah.
got into that, and so that's kind of what it started us on. Like, okay, we flipped our house. We really like that. Like, we like the process. I personally love the process of like taking something that's older and like updating it, making it new, making it function well, and just like making this beautiful product that now somebody can move into it. So wanted to start doing flips. Also, eventually we want to start doing like buy and holds, having some rentals. But flips obviously help build your cash flow. So
for sure.
That's where we were starting. And so we were calling expired listings. And we were just looking through them before we would call them to see what the property was, if it had ended up selling or whatever. We were looking through the pictures of this one. I was like, honestly, this looks like a really good flip. Like, it was just kind of ugly. Like, it was
it's hideous.
Gross.
Oh yeah.
It sat for a couple years and just got really nasty. And like, we were like, but it's like right here in Cary. Like, this is a great location. So we went over, tried to knock on the door. They had moved out a couple years ago. We're walking back to the car. The neighbors were driving out, and they're like, do you need, like, it was just kind of like, what are you doing? And it was like, do you know the people that own this? Like, yes, here's their number. Please call them, buy the house. Like, we want somebody to move in. And we're like, okay, like, we'd love to move in. Might not be the move for us right now, but like, we'll see. So we tried to do some creative finance. And if we did that, like, if that worked out, maybe we would have moved in and done like more of a live-in flip. But since the interest rates are higher right now, it was like, all right, this is not the move for us at the moment, but this would be a solid project. For our first flip, it definitely was a higher price point. So we were like,
Yeah, so for half a second, we were going to partner up and we were going to split the down payment. And then when I ran the numbers with my subs, I was like, there's not enough money
it's definitely
for
a harder
me
one
to
to
jump
split
in.
for sure.
Yeah.
So how did you guys come up with the difference?
Well, we ended up, we kind of had it. It was just we didn't want to exhaust all of it. Like we ended up using our HELOC.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
you
so
guys just made up the difference.
Yeah, so we just made up the difference.
Okay. Yeah.
We have one investor who might like help out a little bit with the renovations. But yeah, we pulled out our HELOC.
And the loan that we did encompasses like renovations. You just have to do draws. So like as we complete projects, we can submit like for them to send an inspector out, come check the project, be like, oh yeah, you did X, Y, and Z. Here's the money for that.
So after you found the house, what were the steps? Did you go to a money person first? Did you talk to whoever runs your HELOC? Did you talk to a potential investor? Did you talk to a hard money guy? Did you go to a contractor? Like, what was your... Obviously, as a realtor...
I think, honestly, this is definitely a good learning experience, which makes sense. It's your first one.
Obviously, as a realtor, you were able to pull comps already, so you don't have to go to a third party for that. So you know what you could buy it for, you know what the comps are. And then you are your own interior designers and have a pretty good eye for it based on the what we were at least like the storyboards we were sharing.
Than that, so I'll have to show it to you. The updated design board looks a little bit better.
I'm sure it does. I mean, what you had looked good. I had no problems with the finishes being picked. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many people hate doing that part. I'm like, oh, I love this part. Let's make it look pretty. But
my mom's an interior designer,
at the same
so I
time,
just grew up with that.
it's also like it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
And I enjoy it, but it's also like one of those things like you can only do so much before it starts to like eat at your time and it's not worth it.
And then also the problem with flips versus for you is your style. You don't pay attention to how it changes. Your style is just your style.
Right.
Flips go with trends and they change rapidly.
Right.
And if you're doing, for lack of a better term, last season's trends, you just screwed yourself.
Yeah.
Like if, right now it's navy and gold fixtures. But like a year from now, gold could be out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
But it wasn't in 2 years ago. Nobody was doing gold fixtures, and now they are everywhere.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a tub without a gold fixture, you screwed up.
Yeah. It is very true. I like to go through like new construction homes because the models always look so good, and then it just like gives really good design inspiration. So I like to like do like a mix between, and with this house, it's obviously a little bit higher end, so it's not just going to be like your basic like everything.
How much of you is in there, and how much of like you did some real thought about what will sell?
Oh, I definitely did. Like, I mean, it's some me, but it's also like I've gone into like a lot of new construction, and like these are different, like very similar light fixtures to what they have. So I definitely like to weigh that because I don't want to put like you said, like my design and my style, like, which I mean might sell because that's other people are like, I don't know what to do, so they just buy somebody else's design.
Oh yeah, I'm not implying that your or his or my styles are wrong.
Right.
Just saying
My style's wrong.
My style is wrong if you want to make money. Yeah.
But no, I definitely like don't want to risk it too much up because like I know I like maximalist. I like really unique things, and like I like a little bit more vintage and like different things. So like I like
you're not in on the style on this house. That's her job.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
I say yes, honey.
He has looked at it and he's gonna tell me if it looks super weird. But I will like justify to him or like show him why I think like, hey, look at this light fixture. Like, well,
cite your
I look at
source.
the price tag
Right.
and then I look at the fixture.
You're like, cite your source. Where's your Wikipedia?
I'm
Where's your
like,
works
see
cited
this
page?
new construction here? It's like beautiful, and like they used this very similar light, or like they did this finish, and like so. I feel like doing like market research too to see what have people bought, what did they like. So
Yeah, I kind of got a training from my mother without realizing it because we've done these 10 houses. Granted, we're doing like specifically 1,300-ish square foot 2 to 3 bed with 2 bath homes and their rentals, but we still like build them and finish them as if
you don't look like garbage.
they look a lot better than garbage is what I'm saying. Like
Right.
they actually like my realtor Stacy, when I give her the final walkthrough, she's usually upset that she's now not going to get to sell
She's
it.
like, why can't I list this?
She's
People
like,
will
damn
buy
it. Yeah, she's like, I know. She's like, I'm just upset I don't get to list it because I know you're going to rent it out. And I'm like, we're going to call you in 10 years. Don't you worry. Those granite countertops will last. That's why we didn't put in Formica.
True.
Smart.
Yeah.
So true.
That's like, I've repeated that on the
And they won't
podcast
stay
so
in my
many
court.
times. Okay. So first, let me say, we put stone in rentals because 1 burnt pot means I got to replace the Formica, and 2 rounds of Formica is more money than 1 round of stone. Okay. Second thing, you just said they don't stain like quartz. I have had so many people tell me that quartz is the stronger, less staining
Dude, that's
stone.
what I had people, and then we put it in our house, and then we learned it stained, and then I Googled it, it does say it stains, but nobody ever
told
had
us.
said quartz stains.
Yeah.
No, but like red wine will stain it, dirt will stain it,
Literally anything. will stain
tomatoes. So you do have to be careful with your quartz countertops.
Shit, we put quartz in our newest rental, and I'm pissed.
They can be cleaned.
and
They
it's
can be cleaned.
$200 more than the
At
granite.
least it wasn't too bad.
So
I mean, they
apparently-
No,
look
I was
good.
very happy with the
They
price. Let's
look
be
really
honest.
pretty too.
Leo, I
It's
love
good-
you. I don't feel ripped off, but I am pissed. That I don't even
know
blame
if,
him.
Like,
but,
different like ones and different patterns, because there's a quartz that's like the small sparkly texture.
yeah, it's kind of like diamondy.
Yeah, I don't know if that stains the same. It probably does. But we did like the white with like the veining, and it stains for sure.
This is the problem with going, not design trends, but like sometimes changing up material
but they say
trends.
It's the most durable.
Okay, but freaking how many millions of years have we torture tested granite?
Yeah.
They built the pyramids out of it. Like, it's
Yeah.
good. We know it works.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. We didn't need to go to a new countertop.
I mean, we're probably putting quartz in this one because it's a nice luxury build, and that's what you have to do for a luxury home is have quartz.
You know, this is where we would disagree. Is I would find exactly the same looking
That's
marble
fair.
or granite.
I haven't gone to look yet,
and-
so I haven't fully committed to what we're doing.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
The only thing that I liked about the quartz was it was like a half-inch thinner. Like, it's a little bit thinner of a countertop, but like if as I sit here right now, I'm wishing I had saved $200 and just gone with my level 1 granite that I've never had a problem with. It's in my own freaking home. I've got it kitchen, both bathrooms. The island was done years later. It looks perfectly matched, and an exterior barbecue directly in the sun with no problems. And I just,
I don't know.
even my mother was like, "Yeah, quartz is the thing."
Better.
Well, they do seal the granite.
Yeah, I think you can seal quartz too. I don't know.
I think it's a little bit more difficult. But yeah,
you probably have to like sand off whatever and then like Well, maybe.
Well, now they have like you can apply pretty much like a plastic coating to your quartz.
Right, but the whole point of doing a
point
stone,
it's kind of like
that's
wood
Formica.
floors, though.
Like,
right.
What do you mean?
I think it's interesting. Like the trend on that has shifted to where like you can get really nice LVPs now, like the luxury vinyl plank flooring that looks like wood, and I feel like that trend is like, I don't know, like wood floors are still very luxury, but at the same time, I feel like some of those luxury like vinyl planks also are because they're just way more durable than wood floors. And if people have dogs, people have kids, whether you're buying $1 million house and you have a dog, like you're not gonna want your wood floors getting and water. If water sits on an LVP floor, like you can mop it up in 2 hours and your floor will be fine.
I agree with what you just said about the water part. I don't know if I necessarily agree on people moving away from hardwood. That still very much seems to be.
I don't think they're fully moving away from it, but I think it's acceptable to do the luxury vinyl because it still is, and you could do higher quality of it too.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good
like
point.
I was looking at them today, and like it like the pattern of it is different. So like one we've bought is like has 6 patterns, whereas if you get a nicer one, it's like 20 patterns. So it just means that there's the different variations in the pieces that you put together, so it looks a little different. It's not like the pattern repeating.
If I was doing hardwood, that's its own category. But if I'm doing anything other than hardwood, I just don't want anything that interlocks. I don't want like a tongue and groove, a snap and click, whatever the hell you call it. Yeah.
Why is that?
For the difficulty to replace it.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, I will say that, but I don't know because I just had a new construction close at LVP. They forgot to put in the floor outlet in the office. They'd cut the whole thing out and replace it. And so they had to rip up all the floors, cut into the concrete, and put the outlet in there. And then they put it back. And I've had actually at least two new construction where they've had to like fix something and rip it up and then put it back. So I wasn't there obviously watching them do it, but it must be simple enough.
I mean, it's literally just time.
That's true.
But the difference, like, so all of our rentals, we have in every single one, it looks like wood, kind of like what you're talking about, but it is a glue down.
Okay.
So it's like.
Do they ever separate?
Are those the glue downs where you can like click them in and out?
So they don't click together.
Okay.
That's the thing. There's no interlocking of any kind. It's just basically, it's commercial grade flooring for like office buildings.
Yeah.
So it's designed for like the most foot traffic.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it, because it's a rental and we allow pets. So we're like the most durable thing. And also it's fully waterproof. Like you could take the whole thing and submerge it. So we do it in the kitchen, in the bathroom. Like we do one house, one floor, one flooring. No transition strips. It's just nice and easy.
Dude, when there's like 7 floors in a house, it's like
it's tough.
It's the worst.
Yeah. And then also
you
we
just walk
save.
through and you're like, Could you all not like pick matching? Like, come
Don't
on.
ever come visit us in New York. There's 14 floors.
Well, I feel like with older homes too, you start to do that because you start going room by room, and like when you live there for so long.
Well, it's like
too.
also in this particular, my parents' house is like an extension that's built on an extension that's built on an
Right. Once
extension.
you
Then they built a deck and then they closed it in and it's a
Yeah.
clear extension. It's like hardwood, tile, carpet, hardwood, tile, carpet,
They're all
concrete. Yeah, they're all different. They are all different. Oh, they are
Well,
all
the styles
different.
change. You have to.
Oh yeah, and then literally it's like the screened-in porch is one tile, but then they extended it, and that tile didn't exist.
Yeah.
So now it's like bigger, kind of similar tiles.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but
like
we
a
put
history
this.
lesson.
It literally is a history lesson. We put this flooring down. It's like you have to. It can go right on plywood, the regular subfloor. No, like there's no underlayment sheets like with. Most hardwoods, you got to put down like that foam sheet thing, and then you nail through it anyway. This is like the floor goes down, and it's just like you spread out this specialty glue. You wait 30 minutes, it gets tacky, and then you just lay the flooring down tight. And then when you have like a room done, like an hour later, you roll over it with this 100-pound rolling thing. And it just like the way tile notches smushes down when you do that trotch of the thin set, the grooves in the trowel.
So you do some sort of like, almost like a grout on the.
It's
like
a glue that comes from the flooring manufacturer, and you lay it out with a specific notched trowel that makes these like 1/8-inch grooves, just like doing thin set for tile.
Okay.
And then you place it, and then the roller smushes, and then the next day it's dry. But the kicker is, so two kickers. One, we do the whole floor, and then baseboard, no need for quarter round.
Right.
So we just saved quarter round,
That's true.
right? And on the occasions when we've put the base down because we just like we're waiting for floor, it's then easy to floor to it and do quarter round. So you can go either direction, which is nice. If you screw up and lay the floor, you can still put your cabinets on top of it. But more importantly is like when a tenant moves out and they had a metal bed frame, this is an anecdotal story, which is why I say specifically metal bed frame, and they didn't have the rubber feet. There were 4, the size of a queen bed frame, 4
Metal
pieces that had like real grooves.
Yeah.
And all we had to do was with a scraper, scrape up that one piece of floor, scrape away the glue, get some glue patch, glue down. We always have 2 extra boxes we leave in the attic and just put in a new piece. And it's like 5 seconds, done.
Nice.
No interlocking bullshit, no pulling trim. Like,
Do they ever separate, like to have cracks between them?
I'm sure that they do, but A, I haven't witnessed it in our properties.
That's good.
But B, I think that's not a product of the floor. I think that's a product of if your house moves, your floor is going to separate. So guess what? If you have hardwood floors and your house separates, it's going to settle and separate either way. If you have, designing a house that's concrete slab on grade with just no flooring, and it's going to settle, it's going to crack one day.
Right.
I'm just hoping it lasts 20 years.
Yeah.
And then when the cracks get bad enough that I hate looking at them, I'll probably do a glue down floor over top of it.
I was going to say, would you do it on top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 20 years after I build the house, when the cracks have gotten bad enough where I'm like, okay, it's not moving anymore, but these are real ugly. I'll just then put a floor on top. The day one thought is I'm doing a single floor home. I got a foot problem. I don't want steps.
I mean, it's best long term. If you're planning something long term, may as well.
I'm building my forever home, and
yeah.
I've even done some researching on aging in place, which is like a real term in this world. I'm sure you know it, and it's like exactly what it sounds like. And so I'm gonna do a concrete floor with the radiant heat, and then just do a as it dries, you can do a pigment powder dye. We did it in this pool house in my parents' house in New York. And it's just kind of like a orangey concrete floor.
That's fun.
And the heat comes out of it, and then there's air conditioning on the wall, and that's it. And it's just concrete and 1x4. And I was like, I am doing that.
That sounds so fun. You can just skateboard around the house.
I mean, you can't screw up the floor. It's like unscrew-upable. And
waterproof and everything.
Yeah, 100%. And then you know, I was my buddy Marcus just a couple of days ago. He was like, you know what you should do instead of dyeing it, which I'm totally gonna do now, is no dye, regular concrete, and then do like a specialized cool epoxy resin with different colors.
Yeah.
Where you see people are doing that with like
Yeah.
countertops and garages. But instead of throwing that like powder of sparkly
like
shit,
the little paint chips.
instead of doing that, just like leave the cool swiggles of different,
Yeah.
and then just have like a clear coat epoxy shop kind of finish.
Yeah.
That'll
It'll be
cool.
slick. Yeah, it'll be unique for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Well, that's the fun thing about when you buy a house. It's like your own. You literally can do whatever you want. Like, I know when people go through houses, they're like, oh my gosh, why would they do this? And it's like, I mean, they lived here.
Yeah, you don't know their life.
Right, like, I get, like, my grandma, she had pink walls and blue carpets. And, like, if you want to sell it, make top dollar, paint the walls gray, replace the carpets. But if you're going to live there she lived there for, like, I don't know, 60 years. She enjoyed her pink walls. She enjoyed the blue rug. Like, good for her.
Yeah.
She loved her wallpaper. Like, it's your house. You make it. You wake up there every day. You go to sleep there. Like, make it what you want. And that's the beauty of homeownership.
It's well said. Like in my bedroom, my headboard is a pallet wall, the whole wall,
Nice.
and
Oh,
like
that's cool.
not for resale. Opposite.
Right, like, and if you're going to sell it, you'll probably take it down. Or
I
you'll leave it and you'll be like, that's fine. They'll have to deal with it.
I won't take it down, but I will tell my realtor that if you get a reaction, remind them that it is just put up with finish nails and no glue, and they can pop that shit off in 5 minutes and paint that wall.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I did the deck redoing for resale.
Yeah.
I did the pallet wall for Corbett. Like
Right,
that
like
was
you
for
live
me.
here. You
yeah.
you sleep there every night. So
Exactly.
You gotta like it.
I want to stare at that and like hang my Jackson Pollock painting and just like have that. It
Yeah.
is the art. I don't need art.
Right.
It is the art. So it's
Yeah.
like, but that's me.
Yeah.
You know, I did that for me. There's stuff in here I did for resale. Like, and then there's stuff that's both.
Right.
Like there's that carport was both. I was
Right,
like, that's good resale, but I want to buy cement
I
and leave
also
it out
know
in my
that.
truck and not have it get rained on.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
Rained on cement's garbage. It's 5 minutes. You know.
That doesn't sound ideal.
No, it becomes a brick.
Have you had that experience already?
So many times.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't even have to have it be rained on in North Carolina,
Like the
unfortunately.
humidity.
Humidity.
Like my brother doesn't believe me, but he'll figure it out the hard way. He has like 4 or 5 bags of cement in a shed it's like a 3-walled lean-to.
Little does he know they're just becoming weights.
And I'm just like, it's just sucking humidity out of the air. That is going to be a anchor weight.
It's like if you were to just like leave rice sitting out there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's 100%. It's exactly
That's
the same
funny.
thing. Yeah. So like, you know, but a lot of people don't realize that materials go bad very quickly. Like
Yeah.
every homeowner is an idiot in that they have their painter put their paint cans in the crawl space.
Unless you save like one so that you know the paint color.
Don't get me wrong. You should know the paint color.
I mean,
have a binder
yeah.
in that closet
All
with
right, well, not everybody's
swatches.
organized with the binder.
And on the back of the swatch, it says living room.
yeah, no,
and
I mean
front
that's
door.
definitely a much smarter option for sure.
Not that hard. But
Yeah.
all I'm saying is that paint's garbage.
Oh,
Like, if you want to
100%.
keep the QR, cool. But
Yeah.
one freeze and thaw, it's done. Caulking,
Yeah.
done. Spray foam, done. Cement, garbage. Like,
Yeah.
and you know,
And even if you have it and maybe it's usable, every project you're just gonna go buy a new one.
it's true.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it actually is good. You're just gonna go buy a new one.
Do y'all have a binder for your house? I mean, you did a huge project. Do you have like
No.
paint
We
colors written
We have
down?
a
or?
file cabinet with like all our appliance like manuals and stuff.
The one thing you don't need, the appliance manuals.
Yeah.
I'm
all
giving
the
you
stuff
shit.
online.
No, this
Yeah.
is
I mean,
yeah.
but it was like, well, let's just
Yeah.
put them all in one spot.
Yeah.
I kept them for so many years,
It's
and
like
then I
keeping
was
the boxes for like electronics and stuff.
I don't keep those at all.
Yeah, no, I don't anymore either. It's like you don't never
Yeah.
need them.
My brother is like, I keep the TV box in the attic. What if I move? I'm like, what if you move?
And you wrap a blanket and some tape
I was
around
like,
it.
what if you
You're
move,
gonna buy a new TV.
bro? Come on.
Yeah, no, we actually probably should come up with a decent binder.
Yeah. I saw a product where like people actually like sell a thing. It's like, all right, here's
Stop.
where you put your
You
paint
don't need a
splotches.
binder. you go get they're a buck
No,
at
you just
Office
make a
Depot. Just go get a
PDF.
binder.
Yeah, I know,
Don't,
you just
no,
make
no,
a
no, no,
PDF
no. Just
online
don't. You don't
now.
need to do that. Yeah. One thing that I saw, I have yet to do it, but one thing that I saw was like the like outlet cover, the light switch cover.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen like a picture on Instagram where like somebody unscrewed the light switch cover, and on the inside of that light switch cover in Sharpie was like circuit breaker number 32, paint color,
that's so nice.
whatever.
Yeah.
This is the living room light switch. And I was like,
Nice.
what a spot to put that, because you never
That's
throw
so
those out.
smart.
Yeah.
Like, genius
That is really
move.
smart.
Yeah. But like, yeah, labeling's cool.
Yeah.
I like
no,
my label
labeling
maker.
is a good idea. We just
Oh.
haven't ever reached organized enough to
Yeah.
do that.
Like, one thing I'm
day.
going to do with my new construction is I did it once for a client, and I was like, doing this forever. And it was like, we had to not screw up her tub, but get to the plumbing. So we went to the closet behind it,
Oh, yeah.
and we cut into the sheetrock.
Yeah.
And my plumber was like, I'm putting in a shutoff valve.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? You won't be able to get to it. We're going to sheetrock this hole over. And he was like, no. Put a grate.
Oh, okay. That's
So I
smart.
literally for like
Smart.
$20 bought a big old air vent
Yeah.
that would screw into an HVAC box.
People are gonna open it and be so confused and be like, "This air vent doesn't vent."
But instead of an HVAC box, I just put 4 drywall anchors.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there.
That's so smart.
So I was like, that's genius. I'm going to put that behind every plumbing junction.
Especially if it's in a closet.
Even if
Yeah.
it's not in a closet.
That's true. It looks normal.
Yeah.
Paint them the wall color.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they don't even have to be ugly vents.
Just buy
you
pretty
could
ones,
you could get
yeah.
something cool. Yeah, this was in a pinch, but like now
Yeah.
that I'm planning on it, I could get like
Oh, yeah.
18 of some cool hidden thing, paint them
Right.
all the wall color. And
Yeah.
it's just a matter, like, I don't even have to talk to anybody. I can just have it be sheetrocked over and then go and cut it and, just pop them in. Like,
Yeah.
why not? It's just the headache that is saved.
You don't have to tear
Mhm.
apart. Yeah.
Well,
100%.
again, I'm talking about a forever home, not a flip. This would just be a waste of y'all's money. Or not, actually. I don't actually know.
Especially if you're already like tearing something up, like if you
Yeah.
have access to it to make it easier for the next person. I mean, it's gonna be somebody's problem at some point.
Yeah,
So,
everything
like,
works till
ideally,
it
we
breaks.
want to make it as nice as we can for whoever is gonna live there forever or
Yeah,
however long.
yeah. But you're focusing more on that wow flip value. I'm literally
Yeah.
like, I don't even care what my house looks like. I'm like function right now. Like I'm building
Function over
I'm building a
You'll
rec.
be like, "Mom, how's it look?" She'll be like,
Oh, she's gonna hate it. Oh, she's not gonna like it. She loves the layout, but she's
like,
not
please
gonna
use
like
these.
it.
At least use these lights and these colors.
Oh, she's gonna hate it. I'm doing like metal roofing as siding and metal roofing. It's just gonna look like a
It's
warehouse.
gonna look like a reflector.
Yeah,
It's,
and also it's a rectangle with a single slope shed roof. It's gonna look like a warehouse.
It's industrial style.
It's very industrial, but you know what it is? It's never gonna leak.
Efficient.
That's what. Oh yeah, you bet your ass. I'm gonna frame that
Nice.
thing out of 2x6s with spray
Nice.
foam and R1 sheathing. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna do standing seam so that when I do solar, I won't have any holes in the roof because
Nice.
they can do when you do like shingle or even other types of metal, you got to like drill through the roof and put the mounting system.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But if you use a standing seam metal roof, they make these just like clips, so no
Oh.
holes,
Nice.
no leak points, which is like
Oh,
for
okay.
me
Is
that's
that like the little lines that kind of are raised on the roof?
yeah, that's
clips
the
onto those?
standing seam where
Okay.
it's like they
Yeah.
have to use that weird like crimping tool and bend it over, and like when it's done, it's metal, but the seam is literally like this high up all
Okay.
the way,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like this far apart.
Nice.
And so like they can just take these cool little clamping system, do the clamp, the bar, and the panel
Nice.
without any holes in your roof. So like
Have you bought the land for your home?
I
yet?
do have the land.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have 11 acres
Nice.
in
Wow.
Hillsboro or Hurdle Mills.
Where is it?
Hurdle Mills, which is like just in Hillsboro, outside
Okay,
of
okay.
Hillsboro. Yeah. I dug the well, not hooked up. Trenched the power, also not hooked up. Permitting is awful. It ended up being easier to just stop and draw the house and get a building permit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because they were like, in order for you to get power, you have to hook up the
We
well.
need the plan.
No, they were like, in order for us to give you a meter, they trenched
Oh.
everything from the power company. I paid them. They put a transformer. I put a meter with thing and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, in order for us to give you the meter, you got to hook up the well.
Mm.
And that means like trenching to the well. And I was like, nope.
Are you hoping to be out there anytime soon, or are you just kind of like slowly?
3 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to draw it. Or, correction, it's drawn. I need my dad's architecture firm to make real plans for me
Gotcha.
so I can talk to a money person
Gotcha.
who can figure it out. But I have like the 3 money people just waiting for me to call
Right.
them. Yeah, I'm like, we can make it work. I own the land. I did the
Yeah.
power. I did the well. I'm my own GC. Let's make this happen.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, I'm going to keep this as a rental so I can use its declared rental income towards the loan
Yeah.
and remove housing as a cost.
What's the like goal price point for your house?
Man, that's a really interesting question. I would like to be under $500,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many square feet?
So it's like 90 by 50,
Do I have to do the math?
but literally a third of that is an attached garage.
Okay.
So I think it's like 3,000 or 3,200
Nice.
living space.
Okay.
So it's definitely way more than I need, but I'm doing it once,
all out.
and
Yeah,
I'm
you'd
going
rather
all
build
out.
it a little bit bigger. I mean, not like and 3,000 square feet is not huge, like too
No,
big.
it's not an absurd mansion,
No,
but like
I feel
most
I
homes
feel like
don't.
that's like the goal. Like it's big enough, not too big. Like you can manage it yourself.
Yeah, but like most homes don't have a gym bigger than a master bedroom or a
Right.
podcast studio. Like I have
True.
both. Like
Nice.
that because it's like, what do I really like doing and want to keep
Build your
doing for the
compound.
rest of my life? This is it. So
You're gonna have like animals, chickens, and stuff.
I'm sure I'll have it all eventually. Yeah, I mean, right now it's just me and the dog, but like I grew up with chickens and fresh eggs every day, all day. My brother has like the most amazing hobby farm. Like his wife's Instagram page is like a literal
Nice.
dream. They've got like donkeys, chickens, ducks, peacock,
That's fun.
bearded
Dang.
dragon, goats,
Nice.
a cow, a horse.
Where
like-
they're here, right?
Yeah, they're in like the Apex Cary
Oh,
area
okay.
in a smaller town. I can't remember the name of right now for some
Holly
reason.
Springs, Fuquay.
No, it's even tinier than that. It's like I just tell people it's Apex Cary. It's New Hill.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
which
okay.
is like this big, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
adorable.
Yeah.
And they,
Get some land.
yeah,
Nice.
they bought this awesome property that like the dude who owned it beforehand, and he worked for a trim company.
Okay.
So like all of the baseboard and casing and crown molding is like over the top.
Like overkill.
Stunning.
Nice.
And amazing. And like there's like 500+ year old tobacco barn
Nice.
structures that are like original rusted tin roofs and like
That's
shifting, falling over, and like so cool.
The
Yeah.
characters there.
Oh yeah, it's so
Nice.
great. And then they've like cleared a garden and fenced in this and fenced in that and slowly gotten animals and blah. And then like someone randomly was like, "I'll give you a free horse. It just needs like land, and I'll come take care of it." And
Well,
they
dang.
were like, "Cool, like we would love that." Yeah,
Yeah,
and like
because horses aren't cheap.
no, but it was like one of those horses that like didn't need to die and wasn't like raceable or
Right.
wasn't a stud or whatever.
Just
The
need to be
like
loved.
yeah, just needed life. And
Nice.
the person was like, "I'm a vet. I'll do all of the taking care. I'll be here once a month or whatever. It just wants to eat the grass." And they were like, "Sure. Will
Nice.
it be good with our
Pretty
2
much.
donkeys?" There you go. And man, you should see like my 6-year-old nephew. He is fearless with those. He'll walk right up to them. He knows their names, what they like, what they don't like. He'll educate you like, "No, back up," or "Riz doesn't like it," or it's amazing.
We've got a
it's
couple
so cool.
nieces like that. They
Yeah.
live on a farm and they are just out there.
Yeah.
One's funny. She'll just like eat onion grass. I think she's just she's just like a wild one. She's so spunky. Love her.
Personality's
they're
great.
so funny.
Oh.
They've got horses, bunnies,
They've got
cows,
everything.
chicken. Yeah.
I don't think they have.
They
goats
love
yet,
everything. They have lambs. One
Oh,
year
yeah.
for Easter, we just had like all these lambs hanging around.
Oh,
They were so cute.
God.
So funny.
Animals are awesome.
Yeah.
They're so
they're so
underrated. Oh.
Kids and animals paired together, it's like adorable.
I mean, when they're not your kids. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it's
Exactly.
I mean,
That's-
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Their faces change
Yeah,
so drastically.
obviously.
Like yes, they're
Yes.
we
yeah.
have 17 nieces and nephews.
Oh my God, that's so
We're
many.
like professional aunt and uncles. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not having kids, but I like being an uncle. I'm the fun
Being,
uncle is
yeah,
great.
being the fun aunt and the
Yeah.
uncle is like the best.
Like I've got one nephew. He's like 19. So I'm like closer to
Oh,
his
yeah.
age than I am
Oh,
to
that's
his
cool.
mom, my sister's age. So like he came
So
down.
funny.
It's very funny. Yeah, we're all halves, and my parents have been divorced a bunch of times, and they're together, and we're all. It's a crazy family.
Yeah.
It's not a family tree. It's a weird bush that goes in
It's
every
a weird
direction.
bush.
It goes in every direction,
That's
and so like he comes to hang out, and like I'm not the authoritative figure that a standard aunt and uncle would be, where I'm like, I don't know if your mom really will.
Oh, here you go.
Let's go to a movie or whatever. I'm like, you want a beer? Like I don't know what to do. I was like, we're peers. Let's just act like it. Like I kind of want to go see the new Ninja Turtles movie. He's like, yeah, let's go do that.
Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's just a different,
Yeah.
it's just a different vibe. Like I'm not, it's very weird. Like hanging out with his name's Pixley, and then like 3 days later being with like 6-year-old nephew, and it's like.
Yes, eat
It's
your
like,
vegetables.
oh
please.
yeah, let's go play Legos. Like, totally different. So, oh yeah, 7:00. You should go to bed. Like, yeah.
Dude, parents that put their kids to bed early, like 7 p.m. It's like that's the ultimate win. Like you get the rest
Yeah.
of your evening.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
smart.
But they go to bed right after, so
Yeah.
they're tired
Oh.
because they
true.
have to deal
That's
with
true.
parents.
That's
Yeah.
true.
They're gonna be up at 5, I guess.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They go to
At least
bed
my
at-
sister-in-law is like, I'm done. My brother will be like, well, I was going to rent this movie.
That's probably gonna be me. Nate's gonna be like, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna be like, oh look, I've got like these 7 projects we
Yeah.
do. We've got 4 more hours. Yeah.
Are you
We'll
guys
cross
wa-
that-
Are you guys watching anything good these days?
Not
No.
really.
Not
We
binging
watched-
anything.
We watched Ted Lasso. I think
Oh.
was the
Ted
most
Lasso
recent.
is good.
So good.
I
Yeah, I
like
think we
that.
haven't started any since we started like all these house project things. It's like work. Okay, go to we should go to bed right now.
I mean, you're smarter than me, and when I am work, go to bed, I still have
Yeah.
binging show in the background.
Mhm.
So yeah, right now for me, it's Justified. I missed the
Okay.
train
Is it
like
good?
10 years ago when it was the hottest show
Oh.
ever,
Okay.
Interesting.
and now I'm binging it, and I'm like, this is incredible. How did I
Really?
let this go by? Yeah.
What's it on?
Justified.
So it's an FX show, but it's on Hulu now. But the only reason that I'm even we have a mutual person. He's a hard money guy, Connor,
Oh yeah.
who he was the one who told me about it,
Okay.
Okay.
and he brought it up because there's like a new show called Justified: City Primeval. That's like him as an older man, like today.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, you haven't watched the new Justified? I'm like, I didn't watch the old Justified. He was like, what? Like, he freaked out after we had a 40-minute conversation about Marvel
Is it like a
movies.
bazillion seasons long?
Yeah, it's like 7 seasons. I'm in 6
wow.
right now.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you-
But
how
it's
many-
like the same main dude, Timothy Oliphant, and the same bad guy, Walter Goggins.
what's the
And
premise?
okay.
Like superhero?
no.
Oh.
He's a U.S. Marshal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's in Kentucky where he's from, and
Okay.
Walter Goggins is just like the hillbilly criminal,
Oh,
and it's just like a constant, forever chase of like new criminals come in,
that's
and
kinda fun. I
it's
like those.
very very fun. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's super cool because like season 2, the cell phones are hilarious,
Oh yeah.
right? And by
Love
season
watching.
4,
Oh, yeah.
we see an iPhone 1 with the big charger, and we're like now in
That's
season
so
6, everyone's
funny.
got like a fresh iPhone, like yeah.
Nice.
It's very funny to watch it, but like, he's a very like old school. He's a marshal, but he like if you think of like an old school Texas Ranger, that's
Yeah.
him. Like
okay.
cowboy hat, and like
Nice,
shoot
okay.
first, answer questions later. But he has a modern Glock instead of
Gotcha,
like a
okay.
stupid 6-shooter. So it's
Nice.
very cool. But he says like the most badass stuff. Like the one example I'll give you, he punches this dude in the face. He's standing over him, and then he takes a bullet out of the chamber and throws it at him and goes, "Next one's coming faster," and walks out. And he's like
Nice.
he's a lawman. He just punches a
Dang.
dude in the face, like, and then it gets brought up later on by like an internal affairs guy, and he's like, "How did this bullet have your fingerprint on it?" And he's like, "Well, I threw it at him." They're like, "You threw it at him?" I was like,
yeah, like
I was like, "Yeah, I said the next one be coming faster." And he just like looks at his partner and he's like, "That's the most badass thing I've ever heard."
That's
But
funny.
that's still against regulation. Like,
that's funny. All right, maybe we'll have to check this out. I feel like we need a good show to like
We
binge,
do.
but it's like just finding a new show is always like. We did Suits for a little while.
it's a commitment to jump into
It
a
really
new
is.
show.
Yeah.
Suits is the one that has been flashing me on Netflix, and I know it's got the Duchess, right? Meghan Markle.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And like I only hear good things.
I like it. Nate doesn't like it because it's kind of like repetitive, like story, like same storyline, different
It's
people.
very similar storyline each episode.
I kind
Is
of
it-
like it. Like you know what to expect. Like you watch them solve. Like there's just different characters. Like I don't know.
So is it one of those like one big person every season, or is like every episode they solve the crime, like an episode
Yeah,
of
they
House?
solve a
It's-
crime every.
Yeah.
So it's like
normally-
CSI. They figure it out
Yeah,
every
yeah.
episode. I don't want
There's
to watch
some
that.
stuff that's underlying for
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But-
See, Justified is like
It's longer.
every season is like
See, that's the
a
problem.
big
'cause then
criminal.
Those are
you have to
good.
binge all of them. Maybe that's why I like Suits is because you
That's
like can
probably
watch
why.
one,
Yeah.
and then be like, okay, I'm done, and you don't feel like, I still need to watch another episode.
But the difference is on the devil's advocate other side of the coin, when episode 5 of the season of Justified ends, I am like, you guys are amazing. Give me more.
Yeah.
When
true.
when episode 27 of CSI, which was like my favorite show as a kid, ended, you just were like, okay, they solved it.
Yeah.
And
You're
next,
like a little sad because you can't watch the characters anymore. Like,
Yeah.
keep solving problems.
Like,
But,
I-
yeah, it's not
I-
as like.
I had foot surgery and I rewatched all of CSI, and I was almost like ignoring the daily episode procedural stuff, waiting for the character development.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while there'd be like something they'd mention, and then they'd call it back 5 things later, and there would be like
Right.
some sort of tiny little bit that interweave.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
Yeah.
it's like an episode of House where it's like,
Yeah.
there might be that cop that's giving him crap every couple episodes, but really it's like new disease,
It's
solve
like, I watch
disease,
Law and
save
Order
person.
SVU, and it's like the same thing.
It's the same thing. Procedurals is what they
Yeah.
call them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have their place. I just
watched
think
the Queen or Queen Charlotte. Queen Charlotte's like the spin-off. Or
I
not a
don't
spin-off,
know.
it's like a
Yeah.
prequel almost to Bridgerton.
I didn't
You
watch
probably
that.
didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Those were good.
What was the
And those-
giveaway that I didn't watch that?
I just had a feeling maybe you were like, nah.
Are you a Downton Abbey person?
I started it when it came out, but I think I got lost, and so I just never refound getting back into it.
My brother, my sister-in-law, my mother, they are just like, oh, it's amazing, and the costumes and the blah and the blah, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, you guys need to watch some CGI stuff. There's some real stuff happening. This is not exciting.
Yeah,
This is
I feel like I don't know.
oh my
I never
God, he
fully got
slept
into
with
it.
the maid. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like there's a terrorist taking over a building. It's way more entertaining. Like,
There's juicier stuff out there.
it's so juicy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you into all the Marvel shows?
The shows less than the movies.
Okay.
But yeah, from here up, my whole tattoo is just Marvel.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm a dork. I'll show you the Captain America shield when we're done with the
Nice.
podcast. But yeah, I am the only one I know who thought that She-Hulk was great.
Okay.
I thought it was
I don't
hysterical.
think I watched it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we're real behind on all the Marvel
Yeah.
movies. I've
Yeah.
seen majority of the original ones.
Yeah,
The main ones. I don't know. I'm
The
really
She-Hulk
falling
was the new show
Okay.
where she's a lawyer,
Okay.
but she's it's like a spin off of the newer Hulk where he's like Hulk but talks.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen enough of the movies where he's like, sometimes
Oh,
he's
yeah,
Bruce and
yeah, yeah.
sometimes he's Hulk. And then at one point he was like Smart Hulk. And he was
Yeah.
like, so it's like, she's like that, where she's like Smart Hulk all the time, but she's a lawyer.
Okay.
And it's like really kiddish and hilarious. And everyone I know hated it. And I'm like, y'all are just haters. They had to do something different.
Yeah.
Like, would you just want another She Wins? Like, it was cool. It was unique. And I tip my cap.
All right.
You know,
I'll have to check
and
it out.
Moon Knight could be one of the best shows I've ever seen. The story behind it is more entertaining than the show itself. Like, literally, some dude, I believe he's from Egypt, but he's like somebody from that part of the world, is just that big of a fan. He unprompted wrote to Marvel and was like, I'm a huge Moon Knight fan. This is how I would do it. Here's my drawings, my sketches,
wow.
my storyboard. And they were like, here's 40 million. Do it. We love it. Like, nobody's that passionate anymore. Do it.
Wow.
And he did it. And Oscar Isaac is Moon Knight. And it's awesome.
Nice.
Like, it's so cool. Yeah.
I feel like the last Marvel show I watched, I don't even know if it's Marvel.
That's
Is it Jessica Jones? No.
yeah, that's Marvel.
Yeah.
That's Marvel?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah,
That's a
she's
really long
one
time
of the
ago.
one of the Defenders.
Yeah, I liked that one.
Yeah, her
It's been a
and
hot minute.
the Iron Fist and Luke Cage and
Maybe some of WandaVision. I think I watched some of that.
that I didn't enjoy.
That
don't
was
think
a
you liked it,
weird
did you?
show.
It was strange.
It took
It's confusing.
too many seasons to figure it out.
Too many episodes.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
really
It's
had
confusing.
to binge it because you watched, like, it was
Yeah.
interesting because they released them in, like,
Once a week.
once a week. And so you watch the first episode and you're like, well,
What is this?
What
Yeah.
did I just watch?
Yeah.
And-
That's true. I like to wait and then binge.
Yeah, I
yeah.
hate when you have to wait
Yeah.
every week.
Like, I'm not watching.
I hate when I get caught up on a show. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, like I'm not watching Star Wars: The Ashoka Story because I'm waiting. Like, I
is
am
that out
such a
already?
fan. They're doing it weekly,
Oh, really?
and I'm just like,
Interesting.
stop,
I hate the
nope,
weekly.
don't tell me. I don't want to know anything. I like unfollow the
Yeah, I just
Facebook
wanna watch it
pages,
all at once.
and like I will wait. And I'm such a psychopath that I will go to my IMDb app and I'll find the air date for the last episode, and then I'll go to my calendar and go to the next day and be like, binge watch this show.
That's hilarious.
And that's what I do.
So smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I need the content.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things you start watching the story. It's like, I just want to see it through to the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shit, we could gab about movies all day long. Yeah, let's get out of here. This was awesome.
Yeah.
This is
Um,
great. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As for anybody in the triangle who might need a realtor, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
You can either text or call me or reach out on Instagram or Facebook. This is probably the most. I had somebody reach out on LinkedIn, and I sadly didn't see the message early enough.
Okay. Do you have a special business phone number or email or Instagram you want to give out?
Instagram is Megan Beekman Realtor.
Okay.
Super original. And the phone number is 704-564-6671.
There you go. And if you need pharmaceutical stuff, we're not giving that information out.
Top secret.
Top secret.
Super
Yeah.
secret
Talk to your doctor. Yeah.
Talk to your doctor.
Yeah. And as always, the Orange Hammer podcast is on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. If you're in the Triangle and you need CRS contracting, call 845-489-6057 or email me, corb@wsdg.com. If you want to come on the show or have me talk about something specific, let me know. Guys, thank you so much for coming. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.